you know, like I follow the Big Ten and I'm a fan of Michigan State, so it's not like it's, you probably don't like any SEC teams if you're a Big Ten fan. That's just normal. But yeah, I can't say I really hate on Bama that much. But if I have to choose someone in the SEC, I'm going with Auburn just because a couple of friends. That's just about it. It is 11 o'clock. We're letting Joe mosey on over. I'm not sure how I feel about this known as meatballs. We'll see how they go, but my guess is they're going to be a little bit mid. I'm also not sure how I feel about what's going on here with USO. So I'm going to leave you with, I might not automatically reload a third time on VWAP at IBIT. And the reason for that would be, one last time, can we come to my chart, then we'll send the guys over. The reason I'm not loving this whole reload on IBIT, if we get back down to VWAP, and I took most of it out at the top, is just what I'm seeing happen on USO. Like, we're threatening this break. And if we break out that high, I don't want to be buying dips into VWAP if we break out that high. I think we're getting a bit of a turn. I'm going to trail this. Like, if it breaks halfway under VWAP, I'm just going to get out, take the win, take what you can get, and not be upset. Let's throw it on over to the midday. You still got Joey options. You've got Sharif. I'll be back for the lesson. Hopefully the meatballs are delicious, and you'll see us as well at 2 o'clock. But for now, enjoy the midday rush.
Yes, yes, yes. Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options. I'm Sharif. Today, we're going to be shouting out some TikTok viewers, Joey. We're going to shout out Nicole, Andrews, shout out Junaka, Jake, Frost, Top House America. We got Fried Egg also in the chat. Jonas Flores, Prem Galal. We got Coleman, Daddy. I'm not going to call you Daddy. Patrick. Melaku, we got Kevin G, Mr. Lonely, he's so lonely. Anyways, D, Quick, we got Randy's World, Scarlett, Masa, a bunch of people on TikTok. If you're not joining us on any of these platforms and you're missing out, we got Options in Deep. Howdy, right back at you, baby. Kirk D, we got Fred Rolling, Donkey Trader, Durant Gordon, Medical, Marinera. We got Taylor, we got Rex, SPX Surfer. He's surfing the, the SPX, not the SPY, Joey, the SPX. Ahmed, we got Iked, Jay Coingy, Oshari, Angelo, Daily Day Trade. Shout out to my man. Marketeer. Who else? Trust Fund Baby. Crazy Dirt Weed. Sup, right back at you, baby. Phil Ossifer, Johnny Fishbone. We got Mario Delzo. Shout out to the product detective. You know, Joey, he goes around to different retail stores and he inspects some of these products. That's what they call a product detective. Okay. Mig Raj. We got who else? Oslam, shout out to Oslam. Boosted Red Spot, boom, right back at you, buddy. Good morning to everybody. All right, we're gonna let Joey set up.
Yeah, we set up, man.
You're set up. All right, good. You want to go over something?
Yeah, let's get into our spiel here today, guys. I mean, we've only traded one name here today. We're gonna kick things off with TSLA. Let's fix our screen a little bit. And right out of the gate, I mean, shortly after the open, we had that strong drive. This is where we punched the most shares. Here, I didn't take that many. I should have just hammered the same amount, but anyway, shoulda, coulda, woulda. That's neither here nor there. We have a nice hold. Wait for that 1-to-1, essentially risk to reward. And now we're starting to come back and holding the volume-weighted average price. My primary culprit today here was going to be IBIT, but this thing's been strong throughout the whole intraday session thus far. And we just haven't had that opportunity to get involved where we want to. The market is starting to see a little bit of a downtick. I don't know if there's going to be anything due to volatility, but IBIT coming in, USO moving higher, Tesla coming in, the NASDAQ selling off pretty aggressively, somewhat aggressively anyways, off of those highs and heading towards the volume-weighted average price. SPY will have to redo this this chart here, but nonetheless, IBIT, USO higher, Apple still hovering around that neck of the woods, 272, some nice indecision prints at these extreme levels, now starting to come in, but this buy program that we went through earlier in the day, just too strong. The buyers are just like, hey, yeah, we're not ready to let this break down just yet. We're going to send things off to Adara, and we'll go over a couple of more things.
Take your time. Tiffany.
Okay, yeah, no way. We can ramble on a little bit. Yeah, sorry, I didn't log in there.
You can just come in on here, Dara.
Yeah, Dara, if you want. There you go.
I just have news on Wells Fargo, which is continuing to drop. So just be aware here. I'm seeing reports that the company did lend money to MFS, which I guess is Market Financial Services, which is a UK bank, I believe, that recently went insolvent. But they were lending to this bank even as Barclays exited the deal and froze its account. So basically, I guess this story is trying to imply that Wells Fargo, WFC, was lending money to MFS even as it became a situation that was financially untenable. That's the deal with WFC. Also seeing an NVDA headline not moving the market, but commentary coming from U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick saying the U.S. has not yet sold NVIDIA's H200 chips to China. So a couple different headlines here. Also seeing comments from CFO of Boeing, who I believe is still Jay Malave, about the company's budget growth going forward. Their earnings call started at 10:30.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. So we're talking about USO continuing to climb. I'm going to put in a new high of the day momentarily. The overall market, mostly the tech names, are starting to come back in. We expected this. Headline sensitivity. It's going to drive USO to the top side. It can go either way. Yeah, exactly. Tesla. But one thing I want us to point out before we send it off to Sharif so we can go through his list here this morning. Now, we're going to have Tesla after the bell. The much anticipated, the headline essentially of the earnings report tonight, 21,300. That has grown a little bit from, no, it's roughly around the same from earlier last night or after the close last night, 21,000, 18,200 contracts. So far this intraday session traded, we had that completely around the close, only around 20,000. So I wouldn't be surprised if that substantially grows leading into the earnings report. Also, the at-the-money IV has drastically increased. We've seen that around 70s, now up to 88. Options market pricing in the expected move and within the options contracts for tonight's report after the bell.
Cool, bro. Cool.
Cool, bro.
All right, just setting up a couple of trades. Allow me a moment here, and then we'll get right into the analysis du jour. So let's go ahead and do just that. Okay. All right, let's get right down to work. I don't like a GPU, for those asking in the chat. I feel, at least for the moment, the best part of the trade is behind it. Hence, it has not made its way onto the side chart over here. So starting at the top, ELPW up about 75%, give or take. This one also is suffering from a bit of a downtrend. And got to tell you, the volume weighted average price has featured here, but there seems to be a little bit of lack of respect for this one as a key technical area of support and resistance. Showing 260 right now, price action at 272. It feels still, though, that, we're putting in lower highs. Moreover, I'm not a fan of these topping tail candles through the $0.75. That tells me the shorts are earmarking that 280 and 275 area as a level of resistance off which they're selling. That displeases me as a person who is looking to go long. So I might stay clear away from ELPW for the moment. TORO, TORO, up about 25%, give or take. The volume is dropping off a cliff, not like it was really good to begin with. In any event, trading above VWAP, trading above the 10 EMA, south of 5, though. This one will have to pick up in volume for me to get involved here, as it's not looking great at the moment. Neither is Beam in terms of volume, dropping off a cliff as well. Just to give you by an example, at 10:45 we were doing 120,000, and then the 11 a.m. candle we dropped down at 10,200. So trend is still intact, but volume a little sus. Okay, so we're gonna have to keep an eye out on that. But the chart pattern is pretty good. Game. What the hell is Game doing? So Game looked like, it was going to be a rounded bottom. Here we go. We're coming back for 58.90. I'm talking pennies, not dollars. Maybe on the way to $0.0025. Nah, right back down. That probably lured everybody in because this candle has a higher high relative to the prior candle. So it comes in to about 50s, almost 57, 56.8. And then in one swift move, in the same 5-minute candle, we're down into 53. That is a big drop, relatively speaking. I don't know if I'm going to get involved in this one, given what it just did, but we're going to keep a close eye on it. But there goes NMAX. We're in at 40. Here comes 1R. 1R for me is 60. We're going to wet the beak here at 20. I didn't even cover NMAX. And here it is, baby. Let's go. Just cross, bro. We're just going to take it here, and we're going to cancel that one. Boom, into NMAX. That's 1R. pretty quick. Now looking for 2. We just did nicely on this one. NMAX, I didn't even cover it yet. I didn't even get to it, but I was involved in the trade. Now we're looking for 2R. Where's 2R, you ask? Nobody probably asked. 984. That's where we're looking. So probably, given my affinity for the number 82, I'm going to take it out at 82 instead of 84. So that's predicated, of course, upon it making it all the way up there. So keeping an eye here on NMAX in at 40. My move here was simple. Okay, let's put it on the black chart. A bit clear. So let's flip to the 1 for a second because I was executing here off the 1. Very clear area of support at around 930, and there it goes again into another high of day, 967. NMAX on its horse, and is looking for $10 here. Let's just cut the crap. We're up all the way up to 9 2/3. I got a bias. We work in a 10. There's 70. Good move here on the max. Let's take a bit of a beak wetter there. And we don't even get it. Unreal, man. These stupid orders drive me crazy. All right, let's throw that in there. That way it'll trigger without me. 970 area high. So what I was doing is, I was like, all right, you know, this is clearly finding some support here at this 930 area. Give it a bit of a buffer to the breakout area. So the support area was different than the breakout area, about a 10 penny buffer. Support found at about 930, resistance, the breakout area between 915 and 920. So that's why I was like, all right, I'm going to give it to 920, you know, whatever happens, happens. We're risking 20 pennies. We're already made 40. So good look here on NMAX. Let's flip back to the 5 on that one. And REPL. This one is also one that I could be on watch for a short, okay? Look, it had a rocket ship up right at 945, 950. Pops up all the way to 231. It closed south of 2 yesterday at 186. But look at this. Uninterrupted lower highs. Alas, it's still holding above the volume weighted average price at around 215, 216. If this loses VWAP and Neil is around, I'm going to look to get some shorts. Continuing on here, CRCG. Again, you know, it had a really crappy day yesterday. It was basically sell all day from the pre-market all the way until the closing print, and it never caught a bid. Looks like a bit of a relief rally today. We're still south of yesterday's highs at around 3 1/4, 3 1/3, but we are above 3. And 3 here on CRCG is overlapping with the volume weighted average price. That could give it double the support. Keep your eye out on that. And then FCell. I don't know what the hell is going on with FCell, whether this is a sympathy play for Bloom Energy, but this had a good few days. Like, let me just zoom out here to the 15. I was telling Joey, I'm like, I might even swing this, you know, this kind of thing over here. Into 725 from a few days ago. Now we've got a high of 1132. This is a fantastic look here for the sell. Whatever the reason is, it's making moves. You know, I may participate in it. So that's going to be my look there. And there goes NMAX again into $0.75, Joey. We're waiting for 82s. We just took up some there at 73s. 82 for me would be 2R. We're still holding some shares. What do you got?
I'm just looking at the market here, man. It truly doesn't really know what it wants to do at this point. USO climbing higher, bounces right back into the volume-weighted average price. We had the reload opportunity there at on TSLA, right at the volume-weighted average price as well. Climbs a little bit higher, but yet to breach that previous high of the day. So you're getting another pullback. Bitcoin, we're not getting what we want just yet. We're going to be patient. And I mean, if it sets up how we want to and we get a curl over here, like around this support level, it's off to the races we go. Like, we're going to put some shares on this one, the most on the day, aside from what we had on that first attempt on TSLA. So I'm looking forward to what we can have potentially here in Bitcoin. Apple still heading back towards the high of the day. This thing's in a complete buy program on today's session. So pretty good look across the board. Tech strong. USO up and down. Headline sensitivity in full effect. And this is what we expected, especially what we've seen from yesterday. So, I mean, it is what it is. Yep, FlyQ, small cap names, FlyQ off to the races. Sharif punching keys now, AGPU, ELPW continuing to climb. What do you got? There you go.
2R, Joey.
All right.
There we go. We got 2R. Anurag, why you gotta be like that, Anurag? You like, NMAX can't do it. So I responded back to him. I'm like, cap. He's like, you are right. Yes, there goes NMAX in the 985. Look, we're just a throw stone away from $10 now, right? You move into the 9 2/3, you move into 9 3/4. And then, you know, in my humble submission, you have to have a bias that we may at least glance at 10. Now, 10 means different things here. It could mean like 994, 997. You know what I mean. I'm talking about the 10 area. It could also mean 1015, right? It could blow through 10 as well. So we're looking here for a little bit more, Joey, looking for that 10-ish area. We're still holding a couple of pieces, but we've taken out the majority of the position. Full disclosure, half at 1R. And about a little bit more at 2R with some beak wetters along the way. So let's clear that 9 4/5, and then we could have a discussion there. John, I was asking you, what's your move on CoreWeave, John? Because you keep telling me CRWV, which is great. Thank you for calling it out. But how are you attacking this bad boy over here? Let's look at CRWV. Man, every time I look at F-Cell, Joey, it looks better. Yeah. Look at this, man. There's a bull flag extraordinaire.
Buy it, by the way.
Intraday, you know, we can talk a little bit about that. Let's look at the weave. Oh, my days. Who's weaving this one, my guy? All right, into 122. Good breakthrough, 121 there, John. I do see that. What's CoreWeave up on the day? Take a quick look over here. Oh, we're 5 3/4. Dang. Okay, let's have a look at the daily. Joey, where are we down the daily? Okay. We're breaking some downtrends here. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches. 6 touches on the top of the trend line. That's a decided break, and you're above prior area high. Take a gander at that 115 area resistance, right? You're above that now, and look, you're probably going to encounter some resistance, I would say, from 145 to 150, should this make it up there, just based on that rounded top that we filled at. So good call there. Thank you for that, John. Continuing to watch NMAX, going to post something here in the mid-90s. Let's go 93, the last time the Blue Jays won the World Series. So we'll see if we can kind of trigger that one and what the situation will be. And if we get 93s, we're going to hold a piece for the dream above the dollar. John says, sorry, it looks like a 120 cup and handle breakout after 120. Let's take a quick look at that. See what John's talking about. So I'm assuming intraday is what he's talking about there. Yes. I agree. So if we're going to get a cup and handle, then we have to consolidate a little bit on the side here, south of 122, give or take, right? Maybe a range between 122 to 121, and then possible continuation. But the continuation, let's see exactly where to expect said continuation. Hold up at 4 hour, please. Okay, so if we do break above that, interesting. Yeah, kind of hard to gauge here, John. Maybe into 130, above that 125. I would always look at 125 as possible area of resistance, but the chart is not really showing 125 featuring all that much here. Quite honestly, it's more of a 130. So yeah, I'm not saying intraday, but possibly a move back up. NMAX coming back down a little bit here, Joey. If it breaches prior bar low, I'm just going to lock my profits and get out. Prior bar low is 949. I'm in at 940, so we're moving up the stop, Joe.
All right, yeah, so let's take a look at some of the top performing sectors here today. The tech sector leading the way, up 1.4%. Energy sitting in that second place. You're up 0.9, and then utilities about 0.6%. The bottom three being the real estate sector. So XLRE, if you're looking for that, down about 3.5%. 0.35%, sorry. Industrials down about 1/5, and then the financials relatively weak here today. Man, what is going on with the financials? We need a rotation into some strength. Now, as for earnings report, we typically go over these. Adair's releasing her infographics on them. Now let's head over. Why is this change here? U.S. market, we don't really care about that. We want earnings. We want earnings right now. Let's pull up. So essentially what we have after the bell, guys, obviously being Tesla, Lam Research, IBM, International Business Machine, Texas Instruments as well. We had AT&T this morning, Boeing this morning, ServiceNow also, CME Group was this morning. So, I mean, not too bad of a look. Thursday, we have Intel. We know that. American Express, Thermo Fisher, Sharif, in the morning. I know you have that as one of your picks this year.
Man,
Union Pacific, Gilead as well. So, I mean, Blackstone Inc., a couple of names. Nothing typically on Friday in the mornings or after the bell. So Procter & Gamble may be a good play there potentially. As for next week, I think is when we really start to get the ball rolling on Monday. We don't have anything. Tuesday is anything start to step in. Visa, so some of these fintech names starting to, and payments and methods starting to kick in. Alphabet and Google, April 29th on Wednesday after the bell. All right, so Google and then Microsoft, Amazon, Meta. Holy smokes. That is a star-studded lineup coming in next Wednesday after the bell. You can see their respective market caps on the right-hand column there. So a lot going on after the bell. That is most definitely going to add some fluctuations within the NASDAQ and in the SPY just due to how heavily weighted they are. So a good look there. I wish these were spread out a little bit more, to be honest with you. I'm cool with 2, but 4 of them, that's absolutely insanity. And then Apple on Thursday after the bell, Eli Lilly, MasterCard, Caterpillar, been on an absolute substantial run. There we go. And Western Digital, SanDisk, those guys are reporting after the bell next Thursday, April 30th. So a star-studded lineup next week. Looking forward to every single one of them. Bitcoin, the one day you want it to pull back, it decides that it doesn't want to and continues to climb. Come on. Let's go to Adara.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Caterpillar next.
We're getting commentary, again, being reported here by Iranian state media from an Iranian diplomat, more commentary on the Middle East saying that, quote, talks in Islamabad are essentially armed negotiations. Now, we already know Iran has reportedly said they're not going to be doing any potential talks on Friday. We knew President Trump reportedly wanted talks on Friday. So date and time of any future potential negotiations still super up in the air now. Back to you.
Stallion once say?
I don't know, man.
Yada, 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 yada.
I wouldn't know anything that woman says. Were you talking about Caterpillar there for a second? Oh, don't make me flex, my boy.
No, I wasn't trying to.
Don't even. I got videos.
I'm sure
More
you did.
videos from today, too. My God.
All right.
About that. What a beautiful looking chart. Joseph, you can feel free to talk about Caterpillar any day of the week.
All right.
Right? Let's take a quick look here, Joey. If we can here, Assassino and Tiffany, thank you very much. This is the tariff tantrum low. 265. Let's just go. Let's drag up that.
Yeah,
we're over 100% already, Joey.
Wow, okay.
Hold on.
We're not stopping yet.
Oh, my days. We're at 200.
Uh-oh.
Hold on. Let's see if we can go a little bit
Still
more
not
here, man.
done.
We're going to go a little bit more. No, not 210%. Oh, my
man.
days. Yeah, this is the best, apparently, year for Caterpillar since 1980. So they've had a year, right? Like,
They've had a big time year, man. I mean,
Yeah,
like who's gonna be at the fore? We're talking about picks and shovels, right? Like, you want to get into the nitty gritty of the build out. Where, like, who's gonna build? Who's gonna dig all this stuff? Who's gonna build it? And
don't forget the generators. Remember the
the
generators?
generators
story?
taking everyone off grid and building your own essentially, right? So you're not passing it on to the locals of the wherever the
Bring your own power, baby. Bring your own power. Otherwise, your data center. Okay, listen to this. Data point. 2025, about 30 to 40% of the data centers that were under application to be built got denied. Now we're over.
What year did you
25.
say? Yeah.
So last year. Just last year.
Yeah.
Now, like so far, we don't have obviously full year numbers, but apparently Q1 it was about 60%.
They're saying no.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. The sentiment towards AI, especially from a data center perspective, is really, really.
Wow.
Yeah. The narrative in the West is markedly different than the narrative in the East. I mean, like China and
they're like,
area.
hey, we don't really care.
They love it.
Did they ever really care about that stuff though? They're like,
Well, they got tons of power.
Right,
That's not their problem, right?
Exactly.
That's not a problem. But I mean, like, just the
From
sentiment.
a grid standpoint,
The sentiment is not good for AI in the West, man. All right, GPUS is Niraj. Let's have a look at that. I'm really looking at FCell today, guys. FCell looks really good. And it's, I don't expect to have a bigger move than maybe 25, 30% on the sell. It's up 18.5 right now. But, you can size into this. That's the thing, right? A lot of shares on FCell trading hands. GPUS, this is the daily on GPUS, so that's real. And that's non-split, by the way. Let's flip to the 5, take a quick look. Oh, excellent call, Niraj. Beautiful breakout here. Look at this, into 17 whole pennies. Coming, obviously, this is bid non-compliant, as my friend, very good friend, Luis Barbado, who will be on later today. So make sure you're around with us at 1.
Yeah.
And then we'll start the news after that with Sia, who's in the house every day because she's now done school. GPUS into 17 pennies. I believe that is the high of the day. Look, possible support at around 16.5, possibly even into that. 16.5 looks really good. That's yesterday's high. It's also a little bit higher than the 10 EMA on the 5. You've convinced me. I'm putting on GPUS here. Who are we going to take off? Toro. Toro's doing bupkis. So we're going to do that. We're going to put Gupus over here and see what we can possibly maybe get on this name if we get into a trade on it. So GPUS in focus. Guys, game as well. I was talking smack about this one because, well, I was about to get into it. It did this candle. But now it's back. So the game is back into about 57.5 pennies with a 58.90 high. You know, this could be a nice flat top break if we reject off there a couple times. It's up 26.75%. But there goes the max. NMAX right back into area highs, 988. I'm done this trade, but this one will likely get it back into 10. This candle here was probably a profit-taking candle. Yeah, it did breach prior bar low, so I had to let it loose. But there it goes into another area high, 990. It feels like we're sort of accumulating, coiling up, one could say, for a decided break of that $10 area. So NMAX needs to be in focus here because this is a gnarly trend, especially getting close to a key area like 10 bucks. So game, NMAX, GPUS, FCell, they're looking good, man. They're looking good. It's just a matter of executing on these and seeing exactly how we're going to get in, Joey.
Good stuff. Yeah, so I was thinking about a potential long here on Tesla, but then it broke through that support. So I'm glad that we didn't hop in, immediately tanked. So now what we're going to do is keep our eye out for any form of indecision prints around these lows for potential continuation to the long side. The NASDAQ is at the high of the day. Like USO is as well. Like, we were seeing the inverse correlation between the two yesterday. Doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. I think it is being led by Apple. Apple's been an absolute monster here today. Only a couple of pennies off the HOD. So there's a lot going on here.
What's your thesis on that? Sells off aggressively yesterday, bought up a little bit today.
USO?
No, Apple. I'm assuming obviously because of John Terranos, obviously.
Yeah, a lot of it had to do, that was waterfall type stuff. I mean, he kind of gave, I heard Adara say that mentioned, he's like, yeah, we're getting prepared to change the world and stuff like that. I think that was just like a giddy speech. Like, he's all he's happy. He's getting the euphoric feeling of, hey, yeah, you're in the office now.
Pumped up.
Yeah, he's pumped up. Good. You know what I mean? So that's good, right? I mean, that's good. Let's see what he can bring. He doesn't really have that iconic name, which it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. It's what this, pardon me?
He's pretty well known, especially in the inside.
It's not his fault. Like, you know.
No, and he's quite well known amongst like people in Apple. Like he was the successor, right? And but the thing that you and I were talking about yesterday, I don't think the market predicted.
I like a catchy name.
You like a catchy name?
Yeah,
why not?
That's fair.
Easy to remember.
Exactly.
What I think the market really was taken off guard by was the fact that it was done now. Like I was saying,
they weren't expecting it.
A year, or that, right? Like,
they weren't expecting it, right? I mean, but I think a lot of it had to do with everything along the lines of a couple ball drops. I mean, we're not going to discredit what Tim Cook has done over the years, essentially, right? I think $350 billion to $4 trillion. I wonder
respect on that name, man.
I don't know. What else can you say, man? You were the most valuable company on the planet for X amount of time. Like, you can't discredit the individual whatsoever. I mean, at some point you got to hang them up. They're going to hang them up a little bit earlier for him. I talk about peacetime and wartime CEOs. I think he was a little bit of the first half. Like, he wasn't really aggressive with the AI build out and everything along those lines. So it is what it is. So he's not out the door. He's still going to be the executive chairman, right, on the board. So
100%.
I mean, I wonder what that pay package is.
Can I
how many shares does this guy have?
We can find out. That's an easy search.
Yeah.
But what I do really like about the fact that he's staying as executive chairman on the board is that think about the political capital that Timmy C has. He's the one that meets with the leaders. He's been meeting with the leaders for a hot minute. He's the one that strikes these supply chain deals, whether it's with Taiwan leadership or American leader, wherever they're getting their products. And so you got to say that there is definitely some benefit to having this guy on so that the relationships don't lapse, right? They're going to be like,
absolutely.
Yo, we've never met you, Johnny. You know, John Terranos, obviously. Obviously, yes, he's the CEO. You put some respect on his name because he's got that position. But they don't know him personally like they know Timmy C. So the fact that he stays on makes me a little bit, you know,
not yet, anyways.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, exactly. Not yet, anyways. But the way he navigated everything, obviously, and not asking for any refund for any in regards to tariffs with Donald, so not getting on the bad side, bringing him that gold plaque as well too. So Donald liked that one. No, but in all seriousness, the way he navigated the tariffs and kind of switched the supply chain, his commitment and his investment into the U.S. as well. So I mean, he's done some things. We can't say that the guy's done anything essentially. I mean, you obviously done things wrong along the lines, but in the bigger picture, on the grand scheme of things, he's nothing but a winner, making Apple the most valuable and probably, I mean, one of the most popular companies on the planet.
I'd say the most well-known retail brand. I mean, can I tell you something? Like, when I talk to my parents, they don't even know what NVIDIA is, man.
A lot of people don't.
A lot of people don't know what NVIDIA is. If you're not in this game, if you are not following tech, I mean, NVIDIA is not a household name that you're going to see.
No.
Well, you're going to see it fair at Best Buy because they sell GPUs, but it's nothing that mainstream.
It's more or less a tech head. Like my grandma's not gonna. She knows what an iPhone is, but she's not gonna be like, oh, nice.
She knows Apple. Though.
Yeah, that's what she knows. That's what I'm saying. She knows what all that stuff is. But same thing. My grandma's not gonna be like, oh yeah, this. Yeah, I got this NVDA GPU and stuff like this. You're not gonna know. There goes the market, like right up.
Joe, let me cover this, please.
Yeah.
NMAX is breaking out. It's ripping through 10 into 1033. This thing just moved from 10 to 10 and a third in a heartbeat, and there it goes into 43. This is a big move here on NMAX, man. Here comes the $0.50, and there's 48. So we're essentially at the $0.50. Limit up is 99. Not that I think we're going to get to that. Is this like NMAX? No, that's NVAX, NMAX. Okay. NMAX is that Newsmax Corp that we had IPO, I think, last year. That's that news channel that's trying to be like in between CNN and Fox News. Isn't it that Cuomo guy works at this news network or something? In any event, man, this is ripping up, Joey. 10:55. We're going to have to keep a close eye on this. 10.5. I want to see where this one wants to drop to because current bar low south of 10. Current bar low takes us to like high 90s, high 90s. So NMAX in focus. We're going to pause for a second.
Hold on. Before we go to Adara, IBIT at a new high of the day. So a spike up there. USO continuing to climb high of the day. So that I'm not getting this dip buy that I was looking for here on Apple. All right, Adara.
All right. Sorry, guys.
It's funny you mentioned, because we're going to talk crypto. But before we talk crypto, I'm getting more headlines out of the Middle East. We know that Iran has, I guess, said basically that they think any negotiations are pretty much armed conversations. They apparently have responded to Islamabad's request for an extension to the truce and said that their armed forces are fully alert and ready for decisive response. So it sounds like, unfortunately, we might be getting some more strikes happening in the region. We know Iran threatened strikes earlier today as well, as far as I was seeing. So let's talk now about crypto. Before we get to BTC, which of course having a really nice run. Interesting story here on the blockchain space. You have blockchain billionaire Justin Sun, founder of Tron, actually suing World Liberty Financial, which of course is run by two of the Trump sons. That would be Eric Trump and Donald Trump Jr. or DJ TJ. Basically, Sun is alleging that World Liberty Financial illegally froze his holding of tokens issued by the company. Now, I believe Justin Sun as well was involved in that crypto dinner held at the White House with regards to Trump coin in May of 2025. So interesting turn of events here. Let's talk about BTC now, though, because Bitcoin is at an area we have not seen since this shelf that eventually, unfortunately, broke to the downside in early February 2026. Sunday, February 1st, Monday, February 2nd, and Tuesday, February 3rd, we all held that level of that $79,000 300 high. Right now it's 79.1, so pulling back a little bit from that level. That level's going to be key. Let's see if BTC can decisively break above it instead of just kind of reaching that level and pulling back, because we are getting a little bit of a pullback in BTC. Ethereum, though, still unable to reach its own, I guess, recent high. We're still below that most recent high on Ethereum made on Friday, April 17th of 2,466. Make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. Back to the guys.
You know what I'm going to say, right?
Yeah, say it.
Go ahead.
I'll say it.
Yeah. Go ahead, Joey. Nah, come on, guys.
There goes.
There goes NMAX. We're back in. Oh, my God. We just took 1107 out, baby. Got in at 1061. Again, NMAX is ripping up. It's obviously a short squeeze here. There's no sell. They're all getting creamed. You're killing me, Joey. What the hell is this, bro? Oh, yeah, okay.
Did you give our TikTok, or you gave our people over at TikTok a shout out this morning?
I did. You saw me. I did the TikTok shout out. I don't want to upset Bravely.
No, we don't want
to
do
upset him, you know, you could find yourself in some trouble. Shout out to our new mod. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to meet him. He's in the chat. sometimes. Shout out to Bravely. He's the new mod. So shout out to him, man.
People are saying, sorry, Sharif.
Go ahead, brother.
USO at the high of the day, but I'm not saying people, but Bazooka's like, or somebody said, not Bazooka, I don't want to miss it. Arcane Level says party over on car. I'm still not getting that feeling. Like, I mean, even though $850, I want to see more of an aggressive downside day. This thing's moved $150+ essentially.
This is the big, okay, I know you're going to like this. I know for a fact you're going to like this.
Yeah.
I know for a fact.
No, but brother, it did that yesterday.
It did?
And then it got bought up.
All right, let's wait to the close. Let's wait to the close. But if it closes like that, are you buying puts?
Yeah, I am. I already told you, like, you want to know the honest truth?
I hear it.
All right. So I'm in like this YOLO mentality. Truly, like, I just feel like I get these feelings in my stomach sometimes that I just like to go really big, and I think I'm going to do that here on USO. And I have a couple big fights that I'm just like, I've been watching too much Togi and Steve will do it, so that I'm like, man, I have to, I have to start doing this, man. And
what?
Just, like, yeah, man.
Jay Lee, he's talking about CAR, Avis, CAR, the ticker. I'm sure, Jay Lee, you've had an opportunity to see what that thing's been doing, I think, the last couple of weeks. And the chart I was just showing, Jay, was this one right here. If we can show this quickly. Thank you, Tiffany. So this is, let's just throw in the ticker so you can follow along. I know why I said to Joe, I know for a fact you like this, because he loves topping tail candles. His algo was basically to buy. I'm simplifying. It was a lot more complex than that. But it was to basically sell short into these topping tail candles and buy into the bottoming tail. And we haven't seen anything like this, any sort of upper wick like this on CAR, let alone a red candle, man. The only red day it had was the 15th. Of April, and look how much it got bought off the bottom. It ended up closing out like 397, just south of 4, but look what the low was. It was like 334. So again, let's not get too excited, right? It's got to close in this way, and we still have several hours before that closing print comes in at 4. So yeah, definitely we'll be looking out for that, and your boy Joey Opsh will talk to you exactly about how he's going to set up on the put.
Car.
Because you're doing that all the time with the strategies. I think,
exactly. So yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that. A lot of people, I only see the real saying that smooth. It's no, I'm obviously being sarcastic, man. I mean, when I say that, you gotta understand that my language is probably about 95% sarcastic. Like, I'm not that serious. Yeah, exactly. No, but anyways, at the end of the day, what I'm saying is that, like, there is an opportunity. I think the best way to protect yourself on that one is going the options route. With that being said, yeah, exactly. First bird, now CAR. What's next? Well, I don't know. We have to wait and see, Ramin, what the next potential opportunity is going to be. No, aside from that, like, we're heading down now, right? Like, you move $150 in a day on CAR. We're talking about $1,000 spreads, contracts that are worth 13 grand, which is absolutely insane. Am I going to be spending that? Absolutely not. Am I going to be?
What are we talking about in terms of cost here? The premium must be through the roof,
brother.
Right? Yeah.
We go 23 days out. You're spending $21,000 on this call option.
Can I know what percentage of that 21,000 is a premium?
All of it. It's all. Okay, no, 306%. So it's okay, yeah. So you're paying essentially, like, this thing should be worth like $50 max. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's $720, 21 grand over there. And if you're gonna buy an at the money put, you're looking to spend a cool 23 grand.
That's light.
Yeah, it's a light 20. It's a light 23. So, anyways, aside from that, like, I mean, that's one blackjack hand for some individuals, and a solid bet on an Ilia Topuria knockout over Justin Gaethje. But, anyways, aside from that, like, these things are extremely, extremely expensive. And the more you get in the money, look how much they increase. Like, some of the, today we had a high of $850.
Yep.
That's $32,000 you're going to be paying for that options contract. 32 grand for the right to 100 shares. That's it's insane. I mean, it's still not as much as buying 100 shares, but that's quite a bit for some options premium, and you have 306% implied volatility.
And shout out to Tony SRX1. You know what he said? 156% implied volatility on that thing.
On who said that?
On Tony.
On what?
Tony SRX1.
It's 306%.
Well, I'm just saying what he said, right? Like, I'm not even looking at the options.
KRS1.
KRS1. Oh my days.
My boy Rhino Day, Ilya with the KO. Yeah, we got got a couple. When is that Sean Strickland Hamza fight? I'm gonna maybe put a little bit of cash on it.
I'm just looking forward to the fight with we talked about yesterday.
The Egyptian card.
Yeah. What is it called? Something Glory in Giza or something like that. Like, It's another Turkey El Sheikh fight, but I think Turkey, he's doing it live. A lot of people don't like the fact that he's money bags, right?
He's such a weird character.
He's super weird. I don't care. Put on the right fight.
Yeah, he does.
He likes to sit by his ringside there and put all the celebrities beside him. I get that.
He's not like that outgoing personality.
No,
like, how did this guy fall into this place?
Because he's got tons of money.
I
He's
understand,
trying to create
but where
Saudi
did he get it?
influence
Where did he get, like, obviously his parents, like, oh, the oil, obviously. Okay, yeah. So he's like, all right, I'm going boxing. I'm going the entertainment route. He's done a fantastic job.
Look, you know, the reason I big him up is because boxing was so factionalized. Oh, if you're not with Top Rank, oh, you're not with Golden Boy, oh, you're not with this, the fight's not happening.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. And
now you're just throwing money at these guys to get the fights to happen.
All right, guys, let's get back into the game over here. Look, I'm waiting on a couple of setups. I missed FCell. It gave me the candle into about 11:05, and here it is again, back into 11.25. It's an unbroken, you know, uptrend. Sure, it's breaching prior bar low, especially on the 5. So my suggestion to you is, if you're looking at getting into FCell, maybe a trailing stop into prior bar low, not the right idea. Specifically with this one, let's take a look at the 15 to see if it's doing the same thing. Well, less. Current bar did breach prior bar low. The prior bar low was 11:07. Current bar low 11:06. On a technical basis, it did. But prior to that, it didn't really. So perhaps charting on the 15 a little bit more strategically advantageous here for FCell. But in any event, man, I want to get involved in this one for a possible move into 12. 11.33 is the high. 11.32 exactly is the high of the day. I've got nothing positive to say about ELPW. This is looking like a glowing short. Look at this. A failed attempt of a reclaim of VWAP, a topping till candle to boot, you know, into 1050, then a plethora of lower highs. And here we are just barely holding on to 2.5. Neil, how much would ELPW shorts cost me? Thank you. Just to find out exactly if maybe we can take this south at 250, but ELPW definitely looking short side on that. And here comes NMAX. NMAX is coming back into 10. I have a bit of a bias that this zone here, the buy zone, is between 975 to 10 on NMAX. Ugly 2 candles there, 2 topping tail candles, and now we're failing basically prior bar low, but here's $10. Let's watch now. I'm gauging 975 to 10 as a hold up here area here on NMAX. Let's see if it actually does that. We've got it ready on a trading screen. I've got it ready on my risk calculator, so everything is good to go. But that's what I'll be looking at there. Game as well is not really losing the bid. I was worried about punching into this one because it looked like it was setting up like something like a double top, with 58 pennies being a very clear area of resistance, despite the fact that we've been into 58.90. Look at the closing prints on the initial move up, 935, 940 candle, take us to about 58, and here we are again with the 1125 candle rejecting 58 pennies. So let's see if this one holds up at around 56 where the 10 EMA is. If it doesn't, what it did last time was hold up at the 20, which is at around 54 3/4. If it does that, if it holds up at the 10, shows me a new candle, make a new high, I get in. Holds up at the 20, shows me a candle to make a new high, I get in. So I'm going to be looking at maneuvering into game here, really dependent upon whether it finds support at the 10 or the 20. Exponential moving averages on the 5-minute chart is what I mean by that. So that's my look there, Joey, as we continue to watch NMAX here. Dilly-dally, a little south of 10, a little north of 10. See if we can pick this one up back into the long side.
Good stuff, man. That's exactly what I want to hear. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything. I seen someone that's like, hey, we have to be patient. Like, for me personally, we had this trade earlier in the day. Now I'm just waiting for a good opportunity. USO is climbing towards the high. Apple and Microsoft are putting in new highs of the day. And we had one printed on the NASDAQ, but now we're slowly starting to come back in a little bit here. I wouldn't be surprised if a headline drops momentarily as the NASDAQ is getting a little bit aggressive to the downside. All right. There we go. As soon as I get the green light, we're going to head things over. We'll send things over. But nonetheless, man, Apple's complete buy program on today's intraday session. Adara, what do you have for us?
Keep an eye here on GEO. This is Geo Group, and getting a little bit of a spike here. Again, this is usually lighter volume, and it definitely is trading within a range, but I'm seeing reports suggesting that the DOJ is preparing to solicit up to $3.5 billion in grants for immigration enforcement, surveillance equipment, and personnel. Now, GEO is a prison-related stock, incarceration-related stock, which is likely the reason for this move up. Also, speaking of GEs, GE, General Electric, incredibly weak today on earnings day too. Saw a couple people in the chat mentioning it, so I want to bring this up as well. Back to you.
Without any form of questioning on Tom Train. And the more that I look at it, like the less attractive it gets. Like I'm not going to be spending that much. If you want to talk about setting up a spread here in CAR, we did an example yesterday, so you can always go back and check out around 8:20. I do the option segment in the morning. You can go back and take a look at that. But we'll do it right here as well, just because why not, right?
They get two?
They get two, man.
They get two, man.
Spoiled.
Big day,
spoiled. The life of Riley, as my grandma would say. So now, anyways, May 8th, all right? So this is what we're gonna look at. Now, what I was looking to do, because these things are so dang expensive, like 20 grand for something that's expiring in 16 days, this might be some of the most expensive options contracts that I've personally seen, 334%, so you're getting the uptick there. But what I was thinking of doing, but then when I went through my risk profile, the stars didn't really align. But if you're looking to set up a spread, what you do is on your put side, you want to buy your strike price wants to be higher than what you're buying on the via short, right? If you're looking to set up the spread, and the inverse, your strike price is going to be lower if you're doing a bull call spread, and then your short call is going to be higher. So nonetheless, what we can do here is we'll turn on our strategy builder. We'll see if we'll go over to our strategy. We'll set up a vertical spread, and then sure enough, what we will do is just do the most basic one. Okay. So why is it doing that? All right, so now it's inverse. It was on the put side. So what you would do if you really want to reduce your cost, it's still going to be expensive. We'll do the at the money as an example, and we'll head over to our risk profile. So there's your spread. What you have here is a 695 put, and then you're going to be buying the 675 to protect your downside. Okay, so this thing does not look attractive whatsoever. Okay, regardless. So how does that even work? You can't even gain anything off of that. So what you have is something that is just not going to be profitable. I've never seen that in my life. A risk to reward of a -1%, and then your max return is going to be negative no matter what you can do, and your max loss is going to be $2,800. It's not working out right now. There's something funky going on with the options premiums, and I would avoid it right now. Even though I was talking about doing it, from what I'm seeing right now, it just doesn't make any logical sense.
All right, I'm trying. Yeah, okay, we're out. Yeah, this one failed. So we give back a little bit there on NMAX. I tried to get back in at that 10 area for a 993 hold. The reason I put 993, that's prior bar low. It failed it. I'm out. Looking for something else now. NMAX looks like it might lose that $10 level. If it does, I may look. Whoa, look at it. This is really losing it now. I may look at 950 to 9.25. Really depending. 950, 20 EMA, so possibly a deeper retracement. Then 9.25 is it's not even really the top end of the range. So it's like 920. The top end of the range of the range that we had between 1025 and 1055. So that's my look there. But unreal, there goes FCell into another day high. It is really going now. We are above that implied balance high at 940 into 1138. We're almost up 20% in the Ville of Green, 1981. It's on the way to the $0.50 here on the sell. It feels like it. Like, look at this. This is pretty trendy here. All the way up, just a bunch of higher highs, not sequentially, because it does have a tendency to kind of zig and zag. But that, again, my suggestion to you is if you're looking at something a little bit cleaner than these zig and zag candles, just chart FCell on the 15. It certainly looks a little bit cleaner. And we have this multi-time frame look that I've been kind of using here. So let's take a quick look here on FCell on the 1 minute. Look how sporadic it is on the 1 minute. I would even trade this. So that's why I like to keep an eye on the wider time frame. And look at this. This is bottom right is the hourly. This thing has been stair-stepping up. It's not giving up the prior day price action, which means to me that I need to be looking at this as a swing. Because these names, when they run in sympathy, like if you were to make the argument, okay, FCell is running in sympathy with Bloom, Bloom's the real winner, yada, 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 then usually FCell would give it up the next day. I'm just checking to see if there's any news today on FCEL specifically. Unusual active option classes. No, that's not it. Fuel cell energy. What is this crap? Rallies. This is from the 21st. So that was yesterday. Can you load, please? There we go. Again, proved all-around trading session. Has nothing, no catalyst there. Closed 20.9% below its 52-week high, 11.99. Well, it's pretty close to 11.99 now, bro. It got back to that level on the 15th. Trading volume 18.7 million today, 9.27. I don't know, guys. FCEL feels like it might be a swing here. And I'm going to really have a look at that. What's going on here? Wolf of Wall Street, doing big things, dropping 10 Trader TV Live memberships in the chat. Maurice Hicks, if you're listening, you got one. How about Basu Games and Mabel, 5184? Y'all both got one. Chimps AI, VA 1332, and Trader Official, LK 370, and Fine Frost, as well as James Dean, not that James Dean, and Edgar Garcia. All of you guys got the you guys got a free gifted membership there. Thank you so much. And Wolf of Wall Street dropping another 20.
Snap.
Super chat. I love it. Crude just got a reason to spike. WTI was already up on Middle East tension. An act of war declaration from Iran historically sends oil up 3 to 5% intraday. Watch defense names and energy simultaneously. We will take that and we will heed that warning. Thank you very much, Wolf of Wall Street. New segment coming up, by the way, where we're going to basically look at the morning notes levels, the technical levels that we're giving them on the morning note, and to see how they jive with the actual day price action.
I like that.
So we're going to be looking at that. Another super chat there. We're going to cover that super chat in a second when we get back from Adara.
MOS is halted, guys. MSOS, keep an eye on some of these cannabis plays. Of course, MSOS, ACB, CGC. Off the top of my head, a couple names you could look at. Axios reporting that President Trump's administration is expected to move to reclassify marijuana as soon as today. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. But again, Axios reporting the Trump administration could be reclassifying marijuana today. A couple days after 420, but very nice look here for MSOS.
The fact that it wasn't done on 420 displeases me greatly.
Does it surprise you, though?
No.
Right?
This?
Yeah.
No, we knew
delay,
it.
right?
He kind of...
It was a little bit of a stoner joke, I guess.
I
right?
get it.
All right.
I get it.
Yeah.
No
Did
substance.
you watch that video that I sent you?
Which one?
On the thing.
On what
like
thing?
No,
now I know.
Google. on the chat.
Let me have a look. Like, which one? Just show me which one it is.
Go to our work.
Yeah.
I sent it.
Hold on, give me a sec. We got a super here, Joey.
We got a super. We'll get to that
All
momentarily.
right, which one? This one?
Yeah.
UFC versus THC.
Yeah,
of course I watched it, bro. Immediately. Anything that says that.
It's like UFC X, THC check mark.
This guy, bro.
Funny,
shout out to Chris Games. Thank you, brother, very much for the $5 super chat. Look what he's talking about. Wow, my SNDK swing.
Bang.
Finally green after a brief heart attack. Cheers.
All right.
I don't want you to go through heart attacks, man. But look, this thing was SNDK. It was basically parabolic up to day 4.25. Let's look to the 4-hour here, Joey. This is the 4-hour, guys. And, clean holds here at the 200 on the 4-hour.
I want.
Yeah, pretty clean holds here, but... Yeah, good for you. Where are you? You don't have to super chat again, Chris, but where are you in at, brother? I'd like to know. Like, you in at 800, you at 875, maybe 900, whatever. This looks like a bull flag continuation, though. I don't think we're done the memory crunch. Let's just be honest about it. If anything, it feels like it's going to get worse because we know that they won't be able to bring on new supply that quickly. It takes years to build up these fabs. So I think things get worse memory-wise before they get better. Tag me, brother. Let me know exactly where you're in at. Taylor Batty. Weed stocks flying. Yes, Adara just brought us the news moments ago. This is the 4-hour on MSOS. Here's the 5-minute. We're going to be looking at this now, guys. We're going to be looking at these weed stocks as kind of small cap gapper. Yeah, absolutely.
TLRY.
Let's find out. Halted? No, it is halted. TLRY halted to the upside. Hold on, Joey. Are we at 5,300 yet? On ACB, we're up to 410,
Close,
my
baby.
boy.
We're close.
We're up to 410, my guy.
All right, I wanted to show this here just to make sure I wasn't losing my head.
Neil's looking.
Hit that again. Hit it again for us, Neil. But yeah, I know. For me to break even, I need Aurora Cannabis to hit $5,300 or something along those lines. Come on, give us some money.
Stop.
No, in all seriousness, I wanted to make sure I wasn't losing my head. SanDisk, the option, or not SanDisk, card, the options contracts, you can't do anything with them right now if you're looking to purchase the puts. So this is the exact same bear put spread essentially on Tesla. I wanted to go ahead and underline that works. You can see your risk to return, your risk to reward ratio changes drastically. Your max return is going to be positive. Something I've never seen before in the options market is when you construct a spread, it doesn't work. Like, it's negative. They're saying, hey, don't do this. I don't know how the mechanics or what's behind it or behind the scenes of how it actually works out like that. But that's the case. Let's see what Adara has to say for us. Let's keep an eye on some of these weed stocks as well.
I have more oil news, guys, this time coming from Senator Lindsey Graham. He is saying that the Hormuz blockade from the U.S., quote, will be growing and that it could become global soon. Now, as we know right now, Hormuz blockade, as far as we've heard, is really only impacting Iranian vessels. But again, Senator Lindsey Graham is saying that the blockade could become global. If I get more details on these comments and what specifically he's referring to, I'll keep you posted. Back to you.
Global?
I gotta tell you the truth. I'm not a big fan of Lindsey Graham's, man. I'm not a big fan of his at all.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
What a bit of a warmonger, man.
Is he?
Wants to start fights with everybody.
You say global now.
Well, I'm not even talking about this specific headline. Yes, you're right, but just in his past. Dude wants to fight with everybody. Calm the hell down, man.
Maybe how,
He's
maybe
snakes, this Texas boy. Oh, I didn't know he was that. Oh, look at all this coming down. All right, man. Look at all the comments.
Yeah,
they're all
crazy.
coming fast and furious. Dang, I must have struck a nerve somewhere there. But
Yeah, man.
whoa, Scott.
What's
Jeez
Scott say?
Louise, we won't be able to block that one, Scott. But Hypercube.
What Hypercube?
Stop, bro. All these messages are getting held back. But yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm just not a big fan of his. But in any event, guys, we're still waiting on TLRY and MSOS to unhalt.
Man.
They're still halted to the upside. I'm very interested in trading these names, assuming, of course, that the trend continues. We never really know if the market's just gonna look, favorably upon this for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden it's not that important. We're gonna wait. It's gonna be a 10-minute halt, looks like, here on TLRY and both MSOS. Not really sure why it should be that, because we kind of understand already what's happening with the headline. In any event, we're going to wait. I want to bring your attention as well to NMAX, kind of finding a little bit of support here at 9.5. Let's see if this one can weasel right back up into 10. I'm not getting in here. This is still an unbroken downtrend on NMAX, and I'm not interested in shorting this either. So we're going to be looking for that. But there goes Beam. I mean, I could use all sorts of puns here, Beamia, blah, 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 right? Scotty, this and that. But there it goes, into $2. That's the high. 31% flat top break, I want to say, into the low 90s, 191, 192. But Beam should be in focus here for some small cap traders. It's not the most liquid name, but it hasn't offered much in the way of bamboozlement. So I'll accept that, even if it is a little illiquid. So that's my look there. And I saw we got more. Wolf of Wall Street dropping another 10 in the chat. Riot Direction, buy. Tier B, 2 Confluence, entry, 1810, stop loss, 1789. Take profit, Joey, 1872. I love how you just put line by line what your trade setup is. You got to love that. I hope it manifests for you and you print up multiple storms on your side. And then he sent another 10 Trader TV Live memberships.
Oh, wow.
And this time, Slick, I should say, 006. Who else? Okits, okay, it's me. 805 got one. J-Car 2026. CK Android 2. Who else? Talina Miga. Sorry. Swinging High. Caesar Ray. Hey Keem. And Lux Ashley, as well as Stock Diamonds. All of you guys, if you heard me there, all of you guys got free Trader TV Live membies. And it takes me to this over here to tell you that we got a new watch list. It's still kind of like in development mode a little bit. You know, I haven't been able to put as many stories as I typically do, but I want to show you exactly where to be able to get it. Now that you guys are premium members, mosey on over to the YouTube homepage for Trader TV, click posts, and then click right there. It says members only. You'll only see that, that rectangle right there if you're a member. Click read more, click that bad boy right there. And what we're gonna do later today, Joey and I, we're gonna go and we're gonna look at the trade plan, the technicals and the trade plan for every story that we put on. Meta the first one, Microsoft the second one, Boeing's the third one, and we're gonna see if the technicals held up and whether the trade setup was accurate or inaccurate. We're gonna kind of do that on a daily basis here. Before we go back to Adara, we're unhalted on both TLRY and MSOS. TLRY filled the gap. It's already down a little bit, but MSOS certainly has not. Look at that gap, guys. We halted at 469. We're at 525 high. We're holding $5 right now on MSOS. Keep your eye on the weed names. MSOS looks like it wants to take out prior area high. It's a monster hammer bottoming tail candle right now. Fantastic look for the weed names. We're definitely going to be looking at these when we get back from Adara, what's happening now, and Neil's lesson of the day.
Oh, this thing's still broken, eh? That's crazy.
Here's the S&P 500, guys, certainly above any of these pre-market lows in the SPY without a doubt, but decently far away from our intraday highs on the SPY. NASDAQ, though, trading actually distinctly differently from the SPY. An incredibly tight range here for the Qs on this 15-minute chart. We're going to talk about oil in a bit because oil headlines continue to inundate this market, and I think really are worth noting for these moves specifically, again, for oil. But let's take a look here at MSOS, because as we know, this one was halted, just finished halting here. Axios reporting that the Trump administration could be coming to a decision here to reclassify marijuana as soon as today. So again, 2 days after 420, on 422, we could be getting the reclassification of marijuana. We've waited quite a while for any kind of announcement on that in a definitive way. I did mention oil headlines, and I will deliver them. USO, tons of headlines here. This one from much earlier today, Iran saying they're not sure if they want to join a new round of U.S. talks on Friday. They've now said they do not want to join the talks, and they're also ready to strike if necessary because these negotiations are basically armed discussions. Last but not least, GOOGL. Google Cloud Next. So not Google, the company itself, but their Google Cloud division specifically. They're holding a keynote today for their Cloud Next conference, which starts today, ends on Friday. Keynote, I think, starts right now with CEO of Google Cloud, Thomas Kurian. So Thunder Beach, to my knowledge, will not be there. I will be listening if there is anything of note here at this GOOGL event. But in case you guys missed it, they did make deals with Accenture, Broadcom, Oracle, PepsiCo, and SAP, among others. And yes, that is Pepsi that they made a cloud deal with. So who knew? But you could know if you joined us over on X at TTV Research, because yes, I do have this many super granular specific infographics you can find every single day. For earnings, I'm going to push out even more because tonight we get reports from Tesla, IBM, ServiceNow, TXN, LRCX, LVS, and many others. But you can just check them all yourself live by joining us on that aftermarket stream starting at 4 p.m. In the meantime, the lesson of the day starts right now. So Neil, what type of lesson is in store?
It's a simple, but it's a two-parter because I have to comment on something else at the end. But this is going to be about how a trader learns from, it's easy to say learns from mistakes, but it's not just the mistakes that you make as a trader, but maybe the missed opportunities, and just to make sure you're ready to grab them. You don't know when it's going to happen. You can't ultimately, you see something the day before, 2 days before, earlier in the week. Maybe it matters a month from now. Maybe it matters a year from now. I don't know. In this particular case, it mattered within 2 days. And it just comes down to learning the lesson. Like 2 days ago on Intel, I was short biased on Intel. And then famously on Monday, the only trade I had was off the open, was a long on this wick. It was like one little tiny green, barely wick right there. I think I eventually might have had a later short, but it doesn't matter. Like I missed the failure. It looked like a head and shoulders kind of pattern. I was looking for the pop and fade. I wasn't fast enough at the open. Maybe I was distracted by something else for a split second. It doesn't really make a difference, but I missed that trade. Didn't really get anything until later. Today, I came in with the same sort of mentality, but the difference was I made sure I was on this level too of Intel to ensure that if it failed the topping tail wick, I was going to be able to grab that short. And then similarly, like the place where it ended up being a buy, where I actually caught the bid on Monday, I was ready for the reversal into the long position as well. It's not just about pattern recognition. It's about, if you see that pattern developing, putting your focus there. Of course, the downside being, if it doesn't flush back through and I don't get that short, if it doesn't catch that reversion, I'm willing to miss other trades to catch this, what I think is an obvious pattern. That's one way that you can learn from your mistakes, by where you're focused when something sets up. The other thing is just a little bit easier, and look, it's gonna be IBIT off that VWAP. Like, what are you gonna do? I had by far like the worst stop out that I've had this week off the open and IBIT, getting out at VWAP. Well, you know what? If I was suckered out at VWAP before, then I'm going to look for the entry when it looks like it's reverting, and then it bounces off VWAP after. Allow it to bounce on the red candle and get in after. Allow the red into VWAP and then get in after. That's another subtle way that you can take the lesson learned from an early trade and adjust on that secondary. But here's what I really want to get to you. When we're talking about patterns and we're talking about trade ideas, there's one common theme you'll always hear me say. It doesn't matter the reason why something works for you, or this indicator is good for me. If it works for you, you just take it. And along those lines, I'm not here to tell you why 420 matters on something like an MSOS, but I am here to tell you it is absolutely insane to me that when I look back at this chart, and we talked about the pivot off of 420 on Monday, I thought this move, and why in the heck wouldn't they have announced this on Monday? And it would have gone twice as far probably. You dipped into 420 in the afternoon multiple times before going into the high. Look what happened the next day. When it was a nothing burger, sell the news because we're no longer on 420, April 20th, look where it bounced. 420, 420, 420. It doesn't matter why that's a thing. Should it matter? Should it really matter that MSOS happens to be at 420 on a dip buy this week of all weeks? Should it matter? No, of course. It means literally nothing to the instrument and the underlying and any other stocks out there, or the news that came out today. But it does happen. It was support in a key level on 420. It will support the next day. Sometimes you just take the trade because it's there, and it boggles the mind that this news wasn't released 2 days ago, because I feel like it would have been an even better rocket ship. But the real lesson, I think, is you have to be able to learn from either past mistakes or small hiccups or missed trades, and be able to take advantage of the information gleaned. My day today worked because of a stop out early on IBIT, right? Like that gave me the info to get a better entry the second time through, and then a missed trade on Monday ends up being the information to get me the short on Intel. And sometimes that's what the market's all about, just taking that lesson and moving forward with it. I'm still hungry, even though I've eaten the lunch, because the meatballs, which I've already eaten, they were like this big, and there's only 4 of them. I'm pretty sure they're the same brand of meatballs that you can get at a generic place in Canada. I'm not going to name the name, M&M Meats. And when we make those at home, because we have made them, I'm straight up, I eat 16 of those for dinner. Like if we're having meatballs and pasta. And we just had 4. So suffice to say, that wasn't the most filling. They tasted okay. It was cold by the time I got here, so it was a little disappointing. The garlic bread was okay. That's a lot of carbs. So like I can't really, I'm too still hungry to be able to grade the lunch that we had today. It's a little bit disappointed. You got to do more. I have to go get some leftovers when everyone's done eating their lunch. So anyways, good luck in your trading. Hopefully the market just continues higher. It's a weird one because we have oil at highs and we have the market at highs. I'll take it. Peace.
Thank you very much, Neil. Aside from the hesitancy to rate the meal, That was a very informative.
Yeah. I mean,
Very informative.
Crazy.
Neil's lesson of the day, as it typically is, and you know you should be joining us around noon, around lunchtime, because that's when he drops said lesson of the day. All right, I had TORO on the side chart, but I removed it, Ram, because it was doing nothing. Oh God, she's back. She's wearing a hood too.
I know.
That usually means that
Cold,
she's in a mood.
she's
And
in a
you may not.
non-talking.
You have to tread carefully around her. I love Ram. I'm just joking. Get it, Ram. But TORO.
She said,
What did she say?
I heard she got jacked the other day.
She got jacked?
Yeah, that's
Like
what she was
who?
saying. I don't know.
She got robbed?
Yeah, that's what I heard her saying.
Ram. Oh,
did.
you didn't get robbed? Everything's fine,
robbed
right?
me? I don't
Okay,
know.
nobody robbed
Not
her.
that I
so-
know of. Did
Nothing
I?
out there, Joey. She's asking. She's like, did I get robbed? Maybe I forgot. I'm playing,
That's
girl. It was
crazy.
Joey saying that. It wasn't me.
Bruh.
But yeah, let's show them the chart here because TORO is looking pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I took this off the side chart. The volume was really bad, but for whatever reason, at around 11:45, so about 25 minutes ago or so, the volume really started picking up, and now we have by far the highest volume print on the day, and it doesn't seem to be subsiding. In fact, the prior bar did 480,000 shares. I don't even think we had 480,000 shares cumulatively, basically from the pre-market till 11:40. In any event, this one's doing volume. It's on the breakout. You probably should be looking at this if you're small cap gapper inclined. TORO, it is up about 58.5%, a little bit more on the day. So that's what I'm going to be looking for now with respect to entries and TA. Well, first thing, you're looking at that $6 area, right? You're looking at $6, which also happens to be basically prior bar low. Prior bar low is $5.99. Current bar low, which we're pretty close to, $6.18. Current bar high, $6.27. It's a $6.50 high of day. So we're an engulfed candle now. The first area I'd be looking at, 6 or thereabouts, like 607, 608. Basically, you're looking for a higher low, so you don't really want it to drop down into that 599.6 level. You're looking for that higher low trend continuation. That's number one. Number two, if it gives up that $6 level, very interested, Ram, at 570, 575. That's where the 10 EMA on the 5 is. Also, you'd have to give it a zone 580-ish as well, because look at all these candles that held up there. You had one candle, two candle with big volume, mind you, right around that mid-80s area. So if it holds up there, I'm game. I'm going to keep a close eye here on TORO. But yeah, there's FCell again back into the high day. And look what's happening in the weed. It's just dropping. So it looks like it's a sell the news thing. 815 high on TLRY, dropping back down now into 7.5. A bit of a weak move here. So no continuation. Also MSOS. So if you're not looking at, one specific company, you want to trade the ETF, there's MSOS, which is the ETF itself, and then there's MSOX, which is the leverage product. This one's trying to hold 5. There's a gnarly gap. Look at this gap here, bro. You think this gap fills? So say from 495 all the way down to the halt level of around 468.
At this pace, yeah, if it breaks that wick low, I think it will, and head through those moving averages, then definitely is going to.
All right, that's what I'm going to keep my eye on there. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm also looking at Beam. I'm thinking about weaseling into Beam here with support in the mid 190s, mid to low 190s. I'll mention that one in a second, but I want to cover this super Kwikey boy. All right. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, my man. SES reports tomorrow.
Yes.
Not that kind of SES.
No, sir.
No, well, we're not. We're talking about.
Yeah, obviously,
I bet you a lot of people have no idea what that is.
SES?
Yeah.
I think in that space you have to.
No, fair. Okay, you have to be a certain age. To know about it,
brother. That's such a
you have to be
Toronto
a
thing
certain
too.
age.
Yeah.
Anyway. SES reports tomorrow. Revenue guidance looks strong, 30 to 35 million. They think they've turned the corner on commercialization. Just throwing it out there. Thank you for that. We're going to do two things. One, we're going to look at SES fundamentally, see what the market is expecting. They're already up today, 7.4%. Let's look at them on the chart over here. That's not the chart. Bro, look, it feels like the airplane is going to take off.
Yeah, it does,
here,
man. Or
It's
something
annoying.
like that. It's really annoying.
All right, let's look at SES. This is the daily. Let's start with the daily. So we're coming from a lot higher, but we've also been a lot lower into 21 pennies. It looks like it's complied now and held up nicely at the dollar. Likely some resistance, one would think, between 150 to 170. The reason I say that, the exponential 200 moving average at 150, the simple at around 170, give or take. You also have that shelf at around 155, 160, and then you have another shelf here at around 180. Let's see what the market is expecting for SES. Can't really see any how price, So there's no what's it called? Yeah, here it is. This is what I'm talking about. This is the earnings expectations. Let's have a look at this. SES Corp expected to show a fall in quarterly revenue when it reports results on the 23rd of April for the period ending 31st of March. The Woburn, Massachusetts-based company is expected to report a 36.9% decrease in revenue to $3.656 million from $5.79 a year ago, according to the mean estimate from two analysts. We have all of two analysts that cover this. The current, what are you doing? The current average analyst rating of the shares is a hold, and then the breakdown of recommendation is one strong buy or two buy or buy, and then two hold and no sell or no strong sell. Okay, I think it's not really jiving around with what you're saying. This one's saying 3.656 million. You're saying 30 to 35 million. So maybe you just missed the decimal place there, but thank you for that. And thank you for the super chat, Joey. What do you got?
I have to read this comment first. This is my style of humor. Lots of complaining from the boys today. Is this Complainer TV live?
What are we complaining? I didn't complain.
No, because man, that's my. That's my style of humor, guys. Anyways, so here it is. Exactly. No, that stuff I find funny. Anyways, aside from that, Tesla, we're still waiting to get involved with this, guys. We had our last out.
Shut up, Brad.
Around 10:44. What'd she say?
She's like, "Why are you crying?"
Oh, to me?
I don't know.
But yeah, to me, I didn't hear what she said, but I'm crying because it's funny. That's my style of stuff. All right, I want to get back into these markets. So essentially what's going on with TLRY, I mean, I'll ramble on a little bit here. The market isn't doing too much. SPY hovering on these, the volume-weighted average price as USO is continuing to climb a little bit higher. Okay, so let's get this metric and this indicator up here if we have the ability to do so. No, it doesn't want to cooperate. But what we're starting to do is conform this consolidative bull flag. With Tesla, we have consistent lower highs. Okay, so we've tried on multiple attempts to breach this pivot and we haven't got there. On this attempt, we couldn't even get to that level. So what I'm thinking is if we're fortunate enough to get some form of a volatility spike or a headline that sends the market lower in a fast pace, then I'm going to be looking for a rebound in Tesla. This is me game planning. This is exactly how we're going to execute. But even if we breach this pivot of 389.23, once that heads lower, then off to the races we might have the ability to go. What I don't want to see is for the remainder of the session, we start to sell off because I don't think that's going to be good for the earnings report, right? Like that initial reaction, that first 5-minute candle could be an aggressive move to the downside if we continue on that path throughout the rest of the day. Yeah, I know what she's doing, man. I don't even know if it's her.
It is her. She's freestyling.
Yeah,
she's good at that.
That's right. Keep doing your thing, man. She's in the flow state right now.
Why are you like this?
Yeah. That's a
Why
good one.
are you like this, bro?
That's a good one.
Hold on. Stay still, Joey. Stay still, man. What? Why are you like this, Ram?
Yeah, I don't know.
I love her, bro.
You gotta have some form of character around here. Anyways, aside from that, Tesla holding around USO. Once again, we're going through the same couple of names. But what I want to do is I want to pull up our watch list and head through to a couple of the larger names as we typically do, and that's going to start off with Apple. We talk about the Mag 7 quite often, why I think they deserve a lot of attention. But here's Apple up to 273.57. Okay, was Google continuing to climb? It's not as aggressive, but we had multiple headlines supporting this. More deals in regards to, I believe it was OpenAI and some other things as well. So Microsoft was definitely the stronger of the out of those four, but starting to come back in a little bit. What I'm seeing is that the volume is starting to drop off. Okay, we're moving lower, volume dropping off. What is that? A divergence between price and the participants involved in the stock, okay? So I think at some point, if we see any form of buyer step in, Microsoft and Apple are going to be the first to go because they haven't sold off with some of its larger participants. Adara, what do you have right now?
Just be aware here, guys. Google Cloud CEO Thomas Kurian is currently speaking at the company's Google Cloud Next event. So this is the Cloud CEO. This is not Google CEO Sundar Pichai, nor is this a Google-specific event specifically with cloud, is what this event is focused on. AAPL is on watch. I mean, not moving here. This is information we already knew, but just be aware it's being discussed right now. Google Cloud CEO Thomas Kurian announcing that Gemini is going to be helping Apple with its personalized Siri coming out in 2026. Again, info we already knew, but AAPL being mentioned. I'm listening to this event. If we hear any other public companies being brought up, I'll keep you posted.
Thank you very much for that, Adara. There goes Toro. Here we go, baby. There is the $0.50. We've got the third of a dollar. Seller at 51. Big seller at 51. Can't shake the seller there, so we're going to wet the beak there. Looking for the breach of 51. There's a monster seller at that 51 area. Anything below the $0.25, I'm out. So my stop is 624. 51 seller. That bugger is still there. Posting at 59, and there it goes into 59. It's a 60-penny high. Toro's on the rampage here. Let's set up a little bit more now. Now we're going to look for a bit of a higher move. We're looking for about 6 2/3, 6 3/4, and if we breach at 3/4 level, you know where we're looking. We're looking for that whole dollar at 7. So continuing to watch. Buyer now stepping in at around the $0.50 on TORO. It's up a respectable 67% on the day. Still south of triple digits, though. Continuing to watch. This is where we had trouble last time, right? Look at the topping tail candle at 12:05. It rejects almost to the T. In fact, it does. 650. So that was an obvious area of resistance, right? We know that. That's not that hard to gauge. Now let's see if it acts as support. There it goes back into 660, Joey. We're in at 31. We're looking for more. I'm looking for 675, give or take. So pack in the patience here. We're nicely up on the day, looking for a little bit more, but we're going to have to pack the patience here because there's a seller at 59.60. So nothing doing here. Looking. Nothing doing here, Joey. No continuation. By the way, NMAX is back on the move. It's breached 10. It held to the T, the 20 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, and now it's doing what my man Big Spile, missed that guy, would love. Many people love rounded bottoms.
Rounded bottom.
Rounded bottom here on NMAX. Could be continuation, possibly into 11. We're going to keep a close eye here on the max to see if we can weasel in. And this, I'm getting all sorts of FOMO on this stock, man. FCell, there has been no red candle on FCell on the 5-minute chart since 10:30. That's 2 hours almost. It's been just pure green here on FCell. So good look there. I haven't done anything on that. That's obviously on me. What am I going to do? But it is set up for me the right way. Maybe it was just my mistake. Anyway, Toro coming back in here, Joey, losing the $0.50. Yeah. We're moving up our stop from the $0.25 to break even.
Yeah. Okay. Good stuff, Sharif. I think we can all agree at this point we almost have a flat bottom break on Tesla. Right? You see that? There you go. This is exactly what I needed. So what I want to see is a little bit cleaner of a flush. Move aggressively. Equities are still holding up around the highs. Obviously, Apple and Microsoft continuing to climb. We've been going over those names. Bitcoin getting the pullback that I'm looking for. NASDAQ is like right at the top end of the consolidation zone when we have USO at the high of the day. Like, what is going on here? We've seen that inverse correlation yesterday. Now we're just kicking everything to the curb. All right, nothing is irrelevant. Nothing is relevant, I should say. So, what we need. Why? Like, why?
What happened, Joey?
Why does it always give me such a hard time, Sharif?
Oh yeah, that platform. Yeah.
Oh man, it drives me bonkers
sometimes. You should just count your blessings that it actually works.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, aside from it's free, free 99, free 99. Aside from that, guys, like we'll head back into our watch list and go over a couple of names. Palantir getting a $350 million deal. Let's head over and see what Palantir has been up to on today's session. $151 coming in off of the high, right? Like so, we were up there at 152.50. Okay, cool. We're starting to sell off a little bit. Bitcoin coming in aggressively. Perfect. We're starting to see the breakdowns in order for me to start to participate on the long side of things that I was looking for. multiple hours ago, essentially, so we have that run in Bitcoin the first hour and a half. It's just straight up into the right. I wanted to see about a half an hour. You have that pullback into the volume-weighted average price. You see those indecision prints, and then off to the races we go. We weren't fortunate enough to get that. Now, as for Netflix, up to 92.93 with a high of around 93.85 on the day. Now, quantum space not performing that well, but some of these leveraged and these treasury plays were doing pretty good. Not participating with the extended rally MSTR, but still up substantially off of those lows. Adara.
As intraday highs, I do have to mention a headline coming from CBS. Huge caveat. I suspect this is going to be probably, addressed further here by the Trump admin. But CBS reporting, citing some sources, I guess who are familiar with information, that Iran's military is more capable than Trump's administration is acknowledging publicly. So again, USO here at day's highs. Could be some concerns about Iran's military that maybe are being downplayed by the U.S. Again, according to CBS. Back to you.
Back down to 87.85. We had that tailwind a couple of days ago in regards to PDT. It's going to take about 45 days or so until it's actually in full effect. I think a lot of the brokerages, including Robinhood, are going to lift that up. Why? Because it'd only be to your own detriment, the fact that you're not going to allow more retail and more trading activity come onto your platform. It's wise. It's essentially common sense. If you don't do it, you'll see the exodus essentially from some of your holders. Now, CrowdStrike is a name that is continuing to climb. Let's go, man. Breaking through some key pivots of 459, 462 is that high, but we're still down off of that previous pivot high. 18% officially out of bear market territory, and we were essentially back here when it was up with 20% off the lows, $50 ago. So CrowdStrike looking good. The SaaS names in play once again, including Palantir, Zscaler. I believe I think I gave it a down. It was on. I didn't personally.
You downgraded it?
I personally didn't. Yeah, but I think it received that. Yeah, it was an upgrade or downgrade. Let's see what they had here. Yeah, they're cutting target. Yeah, and they did get some downgrades. So Zscaler, out of the PNWs and the CrowdStrike, still down and hasn't participated in the SaaS rally.
It hasn't, actually?
No.
Dang, bro, that's the scaler right there?
That's scaler, man.
Okay, so that's a company-specific problem, clearly.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a gnarly-looking double top, though, eh?
That's an 18. I mean, it's 18% off the lows, but it's still down 60%.
60?
58 to be precise.
Can you zoom out?
For sure.
That neckline break at around 280 is money.
This one?
Money. Look at that double top.
Bang.
My days.
Yeah. This was just a whipsaw move, in my opinion.
AKAN open. KC 526 is in this. AKN is ripping. It's up 105%. Limit up. Can't see limit up yet, but limit down is 558. We're in the down parameter right now. It's a high of day at 669er. Limit down 588, triggering right now. Let's see. We're still looking good looking chart. Got to tell you. These things halt up and down. We're halted down now on AKAN, up 72%. Definitely going to keep an eye out on this one because it's moving in a hurry. And look, the volume just started coming in at around 11:45. That's when the price action really started developing. We haven't done much in the way of shares because it's a multiple halter. That's typically normal. 1.646 million shares on the day. So definitely keeping an eye here on AKAN. In the same way that I'm keeping an eye here on TORO, and there goes TORO again into 660. Can it breach a high of the day? It's ripping, Joey, into 666. I don't want to see that number again. Let's go, 669. Okay, that's better. High of day, looking for continuation here on TORO. Let's see if we get into 7. I haven't gotten anything else since I got out. Definitely looking for a bit of a pullback. It looks like that pullback, the buy area was 640 to 650. I missed that, but in any event, definitely keeping a look out there. And by the way, there was a lot of people singing or calling the demise of these wheat stocks. Well, yeah, I can completely sympathize with that. Some of them, they just tend to fade. But here comes TLRY, here comes MSOS. They're trying to make a move back up. MSOS showing 516. I believe the high of the day is my favorite number, 525. Let's keep an eye out on that one. Yeah, it is 525 on the dot on MSOS. TLRY right back up to 780. Still well south of that 816. You want my honest opinion? TLRY doesn't look that good. It's substantially off highs, whereas MSOS is like a couple of pennies off highs. So I would I'm more inclined, if I get into one of these names, to trade the ETF as opposed to TLRY or any of the other names. To be fair, I haven't looked at the other names. Let's see what CGC is up to. How's that look? Well off the highs as well. Grow Generations, a little bit off the highs. ACB. Yeah, they're all, the actual names themselves are more substantially off the highs than the ETFs. So I'd be looking to trade the ETFs. And then FCell has just given me all sorts of FOMO, man. Every time I look at this piece of you know what, it's at another high a day, 1174. Thank God, that was annoying.
Yeah, it was really annoying.
Could you guys hear that in the background? Because it stopped.
They were asking what altitude we were at and stuff like that.
It did sound like an airplane, I'm not going to lie.
I mean,
like
when
the
things get
churning of
fired
the
up.
engine.
All right, Sharif, we're falling into some levels that we want via Bitcoin. I mean, we've had this chart up here all day, essentially, on TSLA. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. This is the only trade of this session. I would love to be sitting in it still, but that's just not the case. We can always re-engage momentarily, but it's only a matter of time until this support level breaks. It's just prolonging the inevitable, in my opinion. So what we have is just that support system at 389.66. Once that breaks, then it's like, okay, what are we looking for? Indecision prints off of the lows, isolated volume prints, and all the right things, essentially, for us to re-engage as the market. Like the SPY.
Yeah.
The SP, what's that?
We're selling off a little bit.
Yeah, the SPY is. Yeah. I mean, the Qs are holding up a little bit better just due to the fact that Apple and Microsoft are so much stronger. But yeah, the SPY is holding up pretty good. We have some prints, a little bit of detail, but what I need is something south, and then sure enough, we get that curl over. We can see that there's a key support level at 44.71. Yeah, we're climbing higher again, Sharif.
We're higher altitude.
Yeah, we're higher altitude.
We're going to 40, baby.
That's Sean on his way back.
That's Katina, man.
Yeah, he's on his way back. Don't worry.
Joey, MSOS is right back into the high of the day. Not even close for TLRY. Look at the ETFs, guys. Sorry to interrupt, man.
Yeah, let's pull up MSOS. I know Sharif was talking about it, but there's Apple as well. MSOS, talking about these weed plays, continuing to fly high, 525, and breaking through that previous pivot. So, I mean, I wouldn't chase it. I thought they would get somewhat of a gap fill, but after that halt, you feel a little bit of it, and then off to the races you go. We're still holding up, so some more indecisions. I have the same narrative, and I'm gonna stick to it. That way, if like everything that I'm talking about falls into place, then we're gonna be able to put on a monster trade for you guys, and that's gonna be the situation I'm sitting in. I didn't want to chase. We had that curl over, but I wanted to give Bitcoin a couple more minutes before it decided to go off to the races, and I just missed that train. And it was in this neck of the woods. I'm like, oh, okay, we break up here, and that's when I thought we would get that pull back into the volume weighted, but then we didn't. Off to the races it goes, and then it established multiple new highs of the day. Now back towards TSLA as it's starting to fall into our lap. Indecision prints below VWAP, indecision print below a support system on SPY, and we're holding a support level here on the Qs. But guess what?
What?
No inverse correlation today. USO right back towards the high of the day. It's MSOS. Off to the races it goes.
It really is, dude.
Yeah.
And we're almost at 79 on crypto, by the way. Did we get to 70?
You said 80 today.
Oh, my days. We got to 79.5, essentially.
We'll get to, I think in the aftermarket we get to 80.
We get to 80.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. That look there, Joey. Here's MSOS. 530 high. We're up 23.8%, almost at 24. Oh boy, I don't know if I'm going to trade this. It's the chart pattern is not easy to enter. I mean, it's just not. And I just keep looking at the divergence between the actual equities and the funds. And there's a clear divergence. One is at day's high, one is not even close. Look at it, TLRY on the top. 816 high, showing 775. This one just got to 530.
That's the ETF, right? The MSOS, right?
Yeah.
So what's strong? Like go to check out CGC.
I did. I looked through all of them. Yeah, we can change it. CGC. They're all kind of.
So there's like an arbitrage play there.
See?
Yeah.
Well off the high as well. But look, what Commodity King was saying. Look at YCBD. This is one of the names that's actually that's coming down now too, right? So. Yeah, to me, Joey, it's going to be MSOS. I think that's where the strength lies. You can look at MSOX as well. Also, I want to bring your attention to NMAX. So this is a failed attempt here to make a move back into 11. But what I'm saying is we're putting in some higher lows. Essentially, since that doji candle at 1150. And those higher lows seem to be finding a lot of support, at the 20 moving average on the 5. Again, not my favorite trade. It's not like an A plus, B, even B plus setup here. I think that would have been on the way up into that double top into 1120. So I'm a little gun shy here on NMAX, and I think justifiably so, quite frankly. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that. Yeah, I know. I'm definitely looking for FCEL, though. I just don't know how, man. I just don't know how to get in on this. It's not giving me the opportunity. It's not pulling back. You're having to punch in willy-nilly at a random area and then just giving it to kind of prior bar low. And I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to do that, quite frankly. So I've got nothing on right now, guys. I do apologize, but we're going to keep a close eye on some of these names if anything's moving. Katina Man says, that was from Commodity King says, that was from Katina Man. YCBD, I didn't even know about it, but I did put it on the side, the watch list, so I can have notice of it for next time. Glaze. Go ahead, Joey.
I was gonna say, did Katina Man post anything on the gram or anything that you see?
I haven't seen anything from him. Yeah, he's probably having a good time.
He's having a good time for sure.
Yeah. Well, you want a bit of a social media break.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And you're
I
telling
was leaving the phone for the better part of the day in the room.
Always.
Yeah, and so I ended up taking my old loaner.
Yeah.
And which doesn't have almost any apps, and then I installed Spotify on it just so I could listen to music, right?
Yeah.
Like,
dude, when I'm out there, I don't want to be scrolling. I'll tell you this one story. We'll get into it quick. So I was in the Dominican Republic, Breathless. I told you about that resort. I never met this individual. This person, 95% of their time was editing photos and being on their phone and not enjoying their surroundings.
No.
And I couldn't believe it. That was the most I've ever seen somebody glued to their phone in that type of setting.
That's just
it was kind of sad. Yeah, it was kind of sad. But what isn't sad right now is Tesla still hovering around. Just break down already. If you're going to, then just why are you prolonging what essentially we're waiting for? And I think that's going to be the narrative. Same thing with IBIT. Sharif had the small cap names that we were talking about not too long ago. We can bring up a couple of them. Toro was a good one for him.
Still going,
it's
Joey.
Still going, yeah. So that's a good call out there. I like Toro. And there's a couple other ones that we've seen. Goop, A-Goop or whatever you're talking about, that broke down. AGEPU.
Yeah.
Once it was below VWAP, I like the plays below the volume weighted average price now. Because once these things give up the indicator, very rarely from what I've observed now, unless it's an extreme momentum play, do they recover, all right? NTRX, not much volume. CCRE, I don't know what's going on. Why can't we just show the volume? It's not that complicated. And ELPW, same thing, below the volume weighted average price. But a lot of these names, you're going to have to order shorts. And this is just going to be ebb and flow, all right? Not much going on there. And MSOS holding up, but starting to come back in off of that high. Watch out for that support level at that $5 mark to be broken, and then some more potential downside. That may not happen, but anything can. Don't tell me there's already a... Yeah, okay, leverage US. Okay, I don't know what MSOX is.
Yeah,
is that a leverage play?
Yeah.
Okay, for $5. Anyways, aside from that, FlyQ was something that I had my eye on today. Did you trade FlyQ today? Spirit Aviation. No. It was pretty strong here today, but no continuation.
Well, your President Trump wants a deal with them. But, dude, have you seen some of the videos about Spirit online?
Yeah, it's horrible.
I don't want to fly Spirit. I don't want to see any of the, I don't want any of that experience right there. It looks horrible. I don't mean to disrespect anybody who's flying on there. That's not what I'm trying to say. But the videos there just a lot of hands being thrown.
But what's up with people and doing that in the airport? Don't you want to go on vacation and yet you're ready to throw down or argue with people on the plane?
I don't know what it is.
It's my biggest fear.
All right, a couple of super chats. We'll get to those in a second. But I did promise Glaze 94 that I'd look at my my scanner settings. Before we do that as well, ACAN halted 699. This time it's halted up. It's up 115%. The tap is looking scrumptious. $7.46 is the tap, having done 2.7 million shares on the day. Halt time 12:34:39. The earliest this will be open is 12:39:39. Okay, so keep your eye out on that. Got 12:38 over here. Definitely going to keep my eye out on that, and then we're going to get to the supers, I promise. So Glaze, here it is, brother. It's super simple. Each of these kind of platforms, trading platforms, even trading data platforms, they all have these pre-programmed scanners. The one that I typically use is called top percentage gappers. What is it? Top percentage gainers. Okay. So that's the one there. They're already pre-programmed. Just select that gainers or gappers or whatever. They're sometimes called different things. And then the only two filters that I actually put is a volume filter and a price filter. Now I used to have this at 85 pennies because I was only trading stocks trading above $1. Then there was really good ones south of the dollar, so I kind of just adjusted. Now I filter everything below 25 pennies. And because I've dropped my price from 85 to 25, I've increased my volume. I used to have that at 250,000. Now minimum volume I want to know about is 1 million shares. So those are the price filter and volume filters that I use. Then what I use here are different columns. Now, depending on your platform, you're going to have a scanner that may or may not have some of these columns. Some of the columns that I include, obviously the price, the change percentage, what's up on the day, as well as change percentage since open. If I can maximize this, you can see it better. Yeah, change percentage since open. The reason I keep change percentage and change percentage since open is change percentage could be from 4:01 p.m. yesterday or 4 a.m. this morning, depending on when it was gapping. And then change percentage since open is what it's up from 9:30 a.m. when the market opens this morning. So the reason I have that on there is for takers like the one you were talking about, egg poo. Yeah, egg poo is up 77.5% on the day, depending on where you're calculating from. But look at what it did since the open. It's down 20%. That doesn't interest me because I really rarely short these names. So I'm looking for the ones that are running up and are continuing to run up after the bell. After the bell. And then I have the gap up percentage. That's obviously a good one as well. Volume, I have 3 different volumes. I have the volume that is done on the day. I have the average volume, which I believe is a running tab of 6 months or 12 months. I'm not sure. And then I have the 5-minute volume. Because I want to know if this one was ripping and doing volume lately or did it at some prior occasion a couple of hours ago. Now it's fading. So I have 3 volume columns there. And then I have shortable shares. Not like I'm really looking to short most of these. Most of them I go long. The only reason I have shortable shares on there is because I want to know if it's easy to short or not. That changes my approach to the name. If it's thickly traded and everybody and their mother can find locates and short them, you're likely going to encounter more resistance on the way up than if they're hard to locate. Okay, that's the other thing. And then the spread. I want to see immediately, before even loading it up on a trading screen, what the spread is so I can get a better understanding of how to approach this one and whether it interests me or not. Like, look at this thing over here, 39 pennies. I'm not touching that. That's not for me, that's for Adara. You know what I mean? Like, that's beyond my capabilities of trading small cap stocks with such a big spread like that. And then last but not least, I have the range. This gives me kind of green columns one way, red columns the other. And what that does, Joey, it basically tells me, is this one trading near the highs or near the lows? So when it's red, and red like this, like look at this example, INBX, this is trading very much the low end of the day, but it's like number 10 on my gap scanner. I don't want to have anything to do with that. But this one over here, AKAN, is literally at the high. So that's what it's showing me there, a quick visual representation of all the data, and even before you've loaded up the trading screen. So that's what I want to talk about there. Hope that helps, brother. Yeah, of course, no problem there. Jay Lee, shout out to you as well. GNLN, people are saying GNLN is moving. We have super chats to get to, so I want to get to those. GNLN, can't even type. What is that doing? Yeah, a bit of a move down now, but yeah, I get it. Let's go to these super chats. I'll take one and you take one, Joey, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
So one is here for puts.
Before we do, we'll get into that hood stuff.
Sure.
We're long some Tesla again. This is only a couple of a couple of cents worth of risk, right? Okay, wow, that clean flush, that's not what we want to see. Headline sensitivity, something stepping into the market, something flush lower. This might be the volatility spike in which we break down. So there it is, just like that. We're like, let's get involved. We're holding up the support levels. The market's waiting for something to step in. You see that clean flush. You've seen the volume step in. And that's the narrative of what we got going on. Something that was looking like it was breaking down. We're holding up. If it breaches that 1308, then we just get out of dodge on that trade.
1730.
All right. Let's pull up these super chats. What do we have here?
So take the second one because it's a put. It's a
okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. So it says by car. Thank you, Trading Scratch. $2 super chat. Something you're looking at, my man.
Yeah.
Car puts at 300, May 29th, lower than surrounding. Explain. You want to cover
Yeah,
that?
well, I mean, when you go out of the money, the premium is going to be cheaper, right? That's the objective. So, like, the May 300 lower than the surrounding. So, are you referring to the surrounding being the at the monies? A little bit more detail, but that thing is driving me nuts in the background.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't even hear myself talk. But now, that's what essentially it is, right? Like, we went over the example the other day, and we even went over it here today in Tesla. Just the fact that if you want to make something a little bit cheaper, then you're going to buy it out of the money, but you have to understand the objective between intrinsic and extrinsic value, and when you do, that's going to help you a ton. I wonder what they're doing over there.
They're sanding the floor.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah. So that's what essentially it is. Okay. So that's why they would be cheaper. We can pull it up right now. I have to keep my eye on Tesla just in case we get that breakdown. We're going to send it over to. Yeah, we're going to send it over to Adara. What do you have right now?
Keep an eye here on USO, which is making new highs. The spike here in the market and USO likely having to do with comments from Iran's parliamentary speaker Galabaf. His comments and his posts on social media have been moving the market as of late. He said that a complete ceasefire between the U.S. and Iran only makes sense if it's not violated by the maritime blockade and, quote, hostage taking of the world's economy. Furthermore, saying that reopening the strait would be impossible given such a, quote, flagrant breach of the ceasefire. So basically, we got Parliamentary Speaker Galabaf of Iran once again saying there are certain conditions, in their opinion, being posed by the U.S. that are going to make it difficult for them to agree or even come to the table regarding a ceasefire. Back to you.
Okay, yeah, so there it is. We'll pull this up here momentarily. I got to keep my eye, obviously, on what we have with clear all those legs. We'll head over to CAR. And then we'll just do a quick breakdown. Like, so you're at the money. Things are going to be significantly cheaper. Why? Because they don't have any intrinsic value. Okay, right? They're only extrinsically valuable. Extrinsically valuable being essentially time value. That's why they're cheaper. So if you go all the way down to $300, it's going to make sense on why it's significantly cheaper. But you have to understand the objective of the trade. Okay, I'm going to get out of Tesla here momentarily. I thought at some point we'd get that breakout. That's not going to be the case. We're holding that support level and leading into the earnings report. No continuation when the market was climbing higher. Not too good of a sign. Let's get out of Tesla. We were heavy shares there. And yeah, we'll give back the majority of our day and then maybe a little bit some if we don't get a bounce.
All right. Quickie Boy, thank you very much for the $1.99 super chat. Man, I'm trying to. Oh, come on, Akan. Oh, pushed me out. Yep. Okay. Sorry. I was trying to get into this one. It's all over the place. I was too tight on the stop. Now it's ripping. It's about to halt again. 670 is limit up. It's losing 7 though. This could be another entry here into 7. Let's see if 7 holds up. Man, this thing is all over the map. Casey, what are you doing with this, woman? Let's see. Just watching. I want to see if there's a 7 buyer here. Continuing to watch. No, it's not holding up in the strict sense or even in the loose sense. I mean, it's losing the bid. Okay, it's too, yeah, I'm not good with these ones. I gotta tell you the truth. I think Casey's a lot better with these. She seems to be able to hold these for multiple halts. All right, Quickie Boy, what do you think of EOSC? Let's take a quick look at EOSC. Oh my days. Tell me that that's gonna be it. I really hope so. EOSC. This is the daily on EOSC. Multiple rejections immediately at the 50. You can kind of see that. It's been rejecting the 50 since the 15th of April, so about a week worth of rejections here on EOSC. That could be an accumulation for a breakout and a decided breakout at that. If it does break above that level, is that you making a racket over there, Russ? Yeah, they're grinding the other floor. No, I'm just teasing Russ, but yeah, there we go. So 10.5 to 11. That's probably your first area of resistance. That's the flat bottom there that this one lost, I want to say back on the 26th of February. So if EOSC gets back above that 50 moving average, well, it can encounter some resistance as well at the 200 exponential, which is at 9.25. I have an affinity for looking more at the simple when you're looking at the daily, and the simple is also showing that 10.5. So I would say if you get above that $7.5, $8, you're likely squeezing into 10.5 here, just based on the technicals as well as price action, support and resistance. Shout out to EOSC. That's the daily on this one. Let's flip to the 5. So bit of a tough day today. Looked gapped up, sold off the entire move. It basically can't catch a bid here. And that happens with some of these. But look, it's more consolidative when you look at it on a multi-day time frame. You can kind of see support generally at 7. It does breach 7, but most of the times it works its way back in. Case in point, the 16th of April, it drops right back down, 686. By the end of the day, you're closing out at about 715. So very consolidative with 7 general area support. But that doesn't change my thesis whatsoever. When you're looking at the daily, there's a 50 moving average here that it keeps topping tail into and fails. And then if it gets above that, again, I really want to stress, I'm looking at 10 to 10.5 for a possible move there. Shout out to Quickie Boy, and thank you very much for the $2 super chat.
Yeah.
On that. Did you have anything you want to cover? Because MSOS is going back into highs.
Market getting a little bounce as well too.
We're
holding on by a thread on this trade. Like the 05, as soon as that hits the bid at 05, I'm out of dodge on it, and we were pretty close. We were printing 06s. So essentially, what is happening? It continuously steps down, and we have these continuous lower highs. But if we can get some form of a headline, like we were fortunate enough to yesterday, and then sure enough, maybe we can get a climb. I thought, like, this is the thing, right? We're looking at a potential bull flag here leading into the earnings report. We're struggling to break down, but it's just the consistent lower highs. So that trend not being breached. Neil will be looking for the trend to be broken before we engage. We're in at the lower of the end of the range. So I'm like, all right, our risk to reward is there. If we're fortunate enough to get that spike through, I mean, we've been accumulating, just slowly channel down. At some point, if buyers decide that they want, we're positioned relatively well, but it doesn't seem to be the narrative right now. Nice indecision print right at the volume weighted average price here on IBIT. I just have too many shares on right now with this specific TSLL trade that I'm not going to hop in this trade here. Even though the risk profile not too bad, you have to risk 6 cents. But there goes Tesla. So this thing is either going to give you one thing or the other. It's garbage, man. Yeah, so there goes Tesla to the downside. That's fine. We'll wait for another opportunity, something that might be a little bit more strong, like Bitcoin. We took our attempts on that. We will have to give a little bit back, but no continuation here whatsoever. Yeah, garbage. Yeah, it is, man. It's just like it's just not in play right now. I mean, we can tell the difference between something is like really, really in play, and Tesla I don't think has been, aside from those couple of days. It's like, okay, yeah, cool, a couple of days, and then yeah, we're gonna kick you back to the curb and not have any follow through or anything, especially leading into earnings. That tells you a lot. Can tell you a lot. So I would put my bottom dollar. If we break down, we breach 389 on Tesla, I would suspect that we're going to see some more downside out of the earnings report, just due to the fact, obviously, this gigafactory going to cost Elon Musk a ton of money. All right. It was rallying with the rest of the market, and that's all we can really say that we have going forward. So I'm prepared to get out when we have to, and we'll be patient and wait for some other opportunities. Nice 5-minute print on IBIT, but I'm not going to chase that right away. Okay, we'll be a little bit more patient, but it is falling into the level that we want. So what time did we get in this? So approximately 11 minutes ago, and it's still been holding up this. But it's best when it's in the money. There's a rejection right here. I thought we would get going, but the volume never upticked, and at 13.13, you just get that aggressive rejection. So there it goes. All right, we're out. We're out. We're out of Tesla as it breaks through that support level. Market not doing too much. We'll sit on our hands for a little bit longer. I wanted to put on a good trade there, but that wasn't necessarily the case. So Tesla, our only trader here today. We put some more on, and then sure enough, you get that breakdown. I clicked that 1305, and there it goes, off to the races. TSLA failed bull flag as the market is breaching through some support levels. And MSOS obviously heading towards the high of the day.
All right, man. Keeping an eye here on Akan. AKAN. I'm still interested in this name. It's very topping tailish into 750. It's a 759 high. Both these candles, the current candle and the prior candle, have big upper and lower wicks with very small bodies. So there's very much an equilibrium right now between buyers and sellers. Let's continue to watch here. If this keeps holding above 7, my bias is going to switch to that we're going a little bit higher. And here we are. Moving back into the quarter dollar, third of a dollar. The buying is on. Let's see if we can kind of continue above the $half dollar. We got 43s on here, 759 high, but look at the selling coming right back in. Looking for that move above 7.5, 759 high, seller at 35, big seller at 35, bringing this one right back down into the quarter dollar. I couldn't quite see what limit up was there, but let's put a profit taker possibly just north of that high of the day. Again, anything below 7 ends the trade for me. So we're going to go ahead and throw in the stop now and, you know, possibly control the bleeding. Right back into 40, looking for that move here above prior bar high. Current bar high is, oh, I'm going to have to look at the multi-time frame again because it's not showing me the right look. Current bar high on the 5 is 750 on the dot. Prior bar high is 59. There it goes, Joey, into the 80s. Bang. All right, looking for more, looking for 8. Let's go. Can we get 8? 790 high. We've got 43s on. No continuation north of 8. Casey, get it. I know she's in this. She's been in this for a while. There's the 80 again. Can we see north of 6? There's 90. Continuation, looking for the move. Looking for the move above 8. There's no move above 8 here. Seller in the low 80s. There's 90. Showing up again. Limit up is 794. So we could get caught in a halt. We're very close. We did flash our halt parameter very momentarily there, and now it's flushing. Watch out for the drop now. If it loses my level, I'm out. Keeping an eye here. Let's see if it gets right back up. Seller at 65. Big seller at 65, at least on the move up. That's 2 rejections now at 65 in a row. Continuing to, and there's a third. Another third rejection there. So the short setting up at 65, looking for the continuation. There's 63 now. They're selling into 63 and the low 60s. I'm out. I'll take that out here. I don't like when the sellers start stair-stepping down their orders. That does usually lead to a bit of a flush, but happy with this trade. Not the best trade, but okay. Could have taken a little bit more. Definitely wanted more around 7 than 740 that I had there. And there it is. It's right back into the $0.50 again. So let's see how this cookie crumbles over here. Not bad. Not bad. But definitely could have done a little bit better on this one, quite frankly. But, can't be choosers. So this is the multi-time frame look. So you can kind of see the stair-step up pattern. If you're looking at the 1 on the top left of your screen, this is kind of what I mean. Stair, that is the stair. There is the incline. There's another stair, up, incline. You see what I'm saying? And then you got to step down here, Joey, because it halted down. So unusual for a staircase to step down, but yes, that is what I'm looking at. So not a bad look here on AKAN, but I don't think this one is done either. Keep a close eye on this one, especially if it really does hold above 7. This could be a good looker here, but 795 rejection, meaning basically $8 rejected there. Oh no, NMAX is losing the bid. I just came to look at it quickly. I'm like, oh, NMAX is looking good. It's holding above 10. It just flushed. It's flushing. It's a big breakdown here. Watch for support at 9.5. That is the low that we were at, 1155, 1140-ish time. 963, there's a buyer here at 65. If it loses the $0.50, this one's in trouble. Getting bought back up quite aggressively into the 80s. There's lots to talk about today, man. Jeez Louise. No shortage of names. And there goes TORO. Where the hell is my TORO screen, Joey? There it is. TORO right back into 660, looking to breach that 685, and another very clean hold of the 10 EMA on the 5 on TORO. Look at this. Look how clean this is, man. It just comes right back down, breaches prior bar high, holds prior bar low. TORO looking bull flag-ish here, guys. Now, how long the consolidation component of the bull flag goes on for, that's always a bit of a variable that no one really knows, but try to play the levels off it. So if you're looking at working into the position, look towards the lower end for your entries. That would be my suggestion. Akan is losing it and losing 7 in a hurry, and it's about to breach prior bar low if it already hasn't. Let's go back to Akan. Sorry, guys, I'm flipping between these names, but, you know, these small cap gappers move quickly. You got to move with them equally as quickly. So this one, happy with this trade. But as I always say, these ones are around for a good time, not a long time. Be scalpy with them, unless your name is KC526 and you hold through like 5 halts. So and we all can't be KC526, Joey.
No, only KC can be KC526. Yeah. All right, so yeah, we're in it. We got one of the prints that we're looking for. Whether it works is going to be a completely different story. The way we rejected that, I only have like 5 cents worth of risk. Then we get out of dodge if it's not going to bounce, right? We have a couple of things aligning for us. We have an indecision print. What I'm seeing on the 5-minute, not the most conviction, but once we get into the detail and we can see on the 1-minute time frame, this is going to be one of the largest volume prints that we've seen since 11:54 this morning, okay? So we have an isolated volume, an isolated pivot, but we reject the volume-weighted average price. That is my largest concern as you tap right into it. As soon as it breaches that 58 mark, we're at a dodge. We want to give it a little bit of room just in case that curl over is a little bit longer. But nonetheless, we have multiple factors correlating this trade for us to go long. So it's like, let's see if we can get it to work. The rejection is my biggest concern. That's what we don't want to see. Now we're back to break even. Instantly in the money, that's always positive as well. So let's see if we can get this going. Chelsea just sacked.
Yeah, well, I
Rosenborg.
mean,
Yeah,
bro,
I don't really
he
know
couldn't
much
catch a
about that.
win for his life, dude.
Is that the manager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He couldn't catch a win, man. I
There
mean,
you go,
like,
nice pop.
give him some time. He came from the French league, from Ligue 1, right? Like, I'm not disrespecting the French league, but I kind of am.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not the best league. So
It's all right.
yeah, you didn't really have a whole lot of
Can't be the best,
experience, Joey.
everything. But yeah, aside from that, guys, let's go. Come on, let's get this IBIT trade to work. We got all out of TSLL, didn't want to participate on the rally, so we have no issues with kicking that one to the curb. We took the trades on it earlier this morning, and it's not ready to get going yet. Does it need to absorb some more liquidity? Possibly. I think that's going to be the narrative.
Okay.
But I mentioned this once, and I'll mention it again. The fact that you're not rallying leading into the earnings report is telling me that it's not going to be very good on that report. I could be totally wrong, but what I've collected from a data standpoint, when you're extremely weak, you tend to be weak leading into that report. Because why? People know something that you essentially don't.
Don't forget.
Adara.
Keep an eye here on USO, pushing higher here, or hanging out near today highs. Washington Post reporting that Iran may have placed 20 or more mines in and around Hormuz. It's unclear if this report's referring to mines that are currently placed or mines that were placed previously, because you know President Trump said that he ordered them to get rid of the mines. So if I get more context and details on the timing, I'll let you know. But either way here, looks like at some point, either now or before, Iran had placed 20 or more mines in and around the Strait of Hormuz. Washington Post reporting this story. If I get more, I'll keep you posted.
Thank you very much, Adara. This is probably why this was probably the last straw. You get clipped 3-0 in the south of England in Brighton. Like, Brighton is a good team. They're like a perennial mid-table team. They're sixth. And they overtook Chelsea with that win. They're 50 points. Chelsea's 48. So, you know, you never really want to laugh. That's him right there, Liam Rosner, sacked by Chelsea. Next manager, latest as 3-month Premier League tenure ends. Yeah, he didn't get much of a shot. I'm pretty sure he came from the French league. Let's just take a quick look at his wiki. Where is his tenure there, Joey? Well, let's look over here. History as a manager. How do you use it? All the way down there. Abramovich, blue ownership, league history. There we go. Now, this is Chelsea, man. I'm not looking for
Yes,
Chelsea.
sir, Sharif.
Go ahead, Joey.
Yes, sir. That's what we were talking about. Detail, detail, detail as we continue to climb. 5 cents, 2 to 1, essentially. We wait for that 10 cent. We were only risking 5. We'll take a little bit more off. I should remove a little bit more, but that was about 45%. Let's see if we can get one more strong uptick here in TSLL. Put Tesla, kick that thing to the curb, and let's trade some IBIT. I told you we were waiting for this setup for the majority of the day, and it's patience. What do I typically say, Sharif? Patience, patience, patience. Perfect,
Yeah.
exactly.
Good
So
job,
that's that's what we were waiting for. It comes into play. You have those stars aligning. It was the two factors that came into right into our lap. We were waiting for the volume and an indecision print below the volume weighted average price. And as soon as we seen that isolated pivot on both ends, you'd absolutely hammer that trade, okay? And there it goes. All day we waited for that one. Let's rock and roll and see if we can find any form of continuation. We have run into a resistance zone that was acting as prior support. Now I want to find a little bit more here in this IBIT.
Yeah, I'm just talking to Jal Press. He's like, yeah, Chelsea giving me shades of Arsenal in the past. I'm like, yeah, those were the bad days, man. Like, look, the worst days for me were the Lacazette, Aubameyang days, okay? Those by far were the worst days as an Arsenal fan. I didn't much mind the tail end of the Wenger era where he had, you know, like Giroud and Sanchez and Ozil. I'm not a big fan of Mesut Ozil at all. I think he's one of the laziest players ever. I get he's super gifted, but you can't just be gifted in the Premier League. You have to have a strong work ethic. That's just the nature of the game. So, yeah. Anyway, this is, yeah, he did come from Strasbourg. So he was actually in England for Derby County, Hull City. Then he had a couple of years there in Ligue 1. And then he came back for a short stint in the Prem. And, yeah, didn't work out for him. So sorry, brother. Hope things are well for him. Obviously, I hope he gets another gig somewhere else and does has a good career. Just before we go to Adara, guys, we are sort of looking flat top breakish here on TLRY. TLRY is looking good. MSOS is looking good. Game is looking good. Likewise with TORO. FCell finding support at the 10 EMA on the 5. There's a lot moving in NMAX. And people were saying AGPU may not be dead. It's still substantially below VWAP, so that doesn't interest me. We're going to pause for a second. We got to go to Adara.
We got a little bit of a pullback here in oil. President Trump is posting on Truth Social about Iran, specifically some female protesters that are within Iran, saying that he, quote, very much appreciates that Iran and its leaders respected his request with regards to the fate of these women. So it looks like they will be safer now. Again, trying to keep my language broad because of YouTube restrictions, but keep an eye here on USO. Again, pulling back here after President Trump said that on his request, Iran has halted some actions towards these women. Back to you.
I watched a, remember how great Vice News used to be? So Vice News released the other day, I think it was like, might have been yesterday or the other day, a new piece, obviously in regards to the conflict. And yeah, let's just say they are not the biggest fans of the Western world, that's for sure. From what they displayed in the Vice piece. Used to watch a lot of Vice News.
Can you say that again? Sorry, I was just messaging Sia.
No. So Vice released a video yesterday, right? So what it was kind of a conjunction of all, a collaboration of all their previous video and footage based off of in Iran before. Iran. So yeah, what I was getting at, they don't like the Western world. You should see some of the propaganda there. It's insane.
Yeah, but I don't think all Iranians feel that way.
No, not all. I'm just what they did, and that's what I made it clear. Like what Vice displayed and how they look, how they perceive, essentially how the Iranian outlook is on the United States. I'm not saying not all of them feel that way at all.
The government certainly doesn't.
There's government certainly doesn't, and from a propaganda standpoint, and what you've seen on the side of buildings where you would have basic graffiti, it's just anti.
Oh yeah, that's a fact there. Yeah.
Okay,
all right.
Before we start the news,
go ahead. Yeah,
do your thing. Let's see if we can get this climb continuation here in IBIT. We don't have much, 20% left.
This guy's leaving already before the camera was off him. I love it. It's just, all right. See ya. We're probably going to get Luis soon, but we're going to start the news because it is 1:06.
Yeah, let's start the news for today. First thing I have for you is Meta is expanding its AI footprint with a $1 billion data center build. Now, Meta has announced an over $1 billion data center build in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The facility has become the 28th U.S. and 32nd global data center. An additional $25 million has also been allotted to local infrastructure spend. Now, this will create 1,000 jobs in construction and also an additional 100 jobs when the facility is at its full operation and full capacity. Meta is doubling down on compute capacity and as well as AI training and inference, which is critical for long-term monetization for the company, especially with regards to its ads and AI products. Currently, Meta in the green, up by just under 1%.
So, you like this. It's nothing surprising. He's obviously earmarked about $135 billion to spend on AI data center build-out in all of 2026. So this is just a part of it. You got to like the 100 permanent jobs, even though there's going to be about 1,000 temporary jobs. What I really keep going back to, and I keep harping on the same point, but it's a point that I think is worth repeating. Meta has a different runway for monetization than its peers, than the Microsofts, than the Googles and the Amazons, simply because they don't have cloud as an offering. And the way that all those other ones that I just listed, the other hyperscalers, are monetizing their AI cap spend is by offering neo-cloud services with AI as to boot, just basically offering in-cloud AI services. Now, we've seen this with AWS and the tie-up that they had with Anthropic yesterday. We've seen it obviously with Azure and OpenAI. The list goes on. Meta doesn't have that, so Meta's got to monetize through ads. Now, to be fair to them, apparently, if you believe the reports, are going to overtake Google as the #1 ad revenue generator in the world. So, clearly they've got that on their side, but whether or not they're able to monetize it in the short term, I don't know, and I always come back to this, but Do you think that Zuck's history of betting on the metaverse, and I don't want to call it a failed experiment because we don't know the future. It could totally be a good outcome.
The way we look at it now, yeah, absolutely.
So do you feel that his, kind of gung-ho attitude to go ahead, spend CapEx, not realize any profit through metaverse, sort of makes you question a little bit his approach to the AI build-out now? Again, because he doesn't have that cloud component. So how is he supposed to monetize this, in a relatively quick way? Because let's be honest about it. If the other three really start monetizing, do you think the market is going to just exercise patience with him and not with the, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
why
I don't
wouldn't
think
the money funnel in over?
Yeah. The market won't exercise their patience. I mean, like, we've seen that from before. Like, how hard did the market hit Zuck and company with his continuous spend and his overspend in the metaverse? It was just like instant. So I think with this, we've seen the stock get damaged before, but just due to the fact that he's willing to spend more than everyone else, but he doesn't have the same form of monetization that the rest do. Let's head back. We're going to talk a little bit more about this, but let's see what Adair has for us.
Yeah, so to keep you guys posted here on USO and the market, we do have more headlines here, this time being reported by Israel's Channel 12 News, saying that the deadline for President Trump's ceasefire here with the Iranians in terms of when that extension ends, it's going to be ending this coming Sunday. Now, we heard reports it was going to be 3 to 5 day ceasefire extension. So I was saying earlier that would probably put it in the range of ending between Friday and Sunday. Looks like that ceasefire extension will come to an end on Sunday. Again, just a report for now. If and when I get more details, I'll keep you all posted. But in the meantime, I think we have a special guest.
Luis Barbado. One of my favorite guys. Joining us from the Real Trading office in Barcelona, Spain. Luis, usually we're a little jealous, right? Because you always have the good weather and we have this weather. But today, 18 degrees and sunny. I know it's not Barcelona style, but
he's just like, yeah, whatever, Sharif. It's like 25 plus probably over there.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh, my days.
Yeah.
All right, Luis, good to see you again, brother. How about we start off looking at what you traded today? Give us a breakdown of what you approached.
Yeah, I think first, since the pre-market already was clear that the most interesting stock was going to be a GPU. This one, you saw pre-market, we traded there, let's see here, backside short here, closing the VWAP, buy and reverse position because VWAP, it seems that it was holding out of the loan and short here against pre-market highs. I could have held more actually. I got out in the VWAP and I was very patient for a new trade. We went short again here against this VWAP rejection. You know this trade already. We went short there and here we are being very patient. Now we are holding half of the trade yet, close half there. I'm adding more here in this consolidation, and let's see if it breaks 850. This was probably the easiest stock to trade today. It was a pity that we didn't hold this short a little bit longer until it broke BWAP and all the way down, but it was okay. Right now we are in Akan. I think you were watching as well. I was short here backside. Look at that nice fill there. Shoulder, 1/3 out, and the other 2/3. Let's see if it breaks 620 and probably go around $5. If not, we will add against the VWAP and close if we see some momentum.
That was really aggressive there to get into Akan. I like that, Luis. Did you see something specific on AKAN that said, this is the right time now, it's failed? Is it the fail of 7? Is it the topping tail candle into 8? What was like your look to get into AKAN short?
Try to avoid it when it was halting up. And suddenly, for a while, you could see a lot of movement, but no more halts anymore. That gives you a little bit more of confidence that you could short this one. And then you see this huge spike, rejects. And then I get some confidence that this was the last short squeeze and you could short with a tighter stop. Anyway, not big size. You cannot play big size here because if it fails, you have a little bit farther the stop loss. But this was probably the key candle to short it.
Good look, Luis. Just gotta ask you, how much did the locates, if you can tell me, on AGPU cost. You got in there pretty early on because you got it on the spike I saw there.
Well, it was not cheap. It was $6 per 100 shares, so 6 cents range.
Not bad at all.
Not bad if you're gonna look for 60 cents, 80 cents, 90 cents per length, so it's okay to pay $6.
Okay, I have a couple to ask you about here, if I can load them up. So first of all, you saw the headline, President Trump may reclassify marijuana as early as today, and some of the marijuana names are going. I know they're not small caps. Maybe some of them are now, Luis, because they've sold off so aggressively, but they're momentum names. What's your look on something like MSOS over here? And really, I want to ask your opinion about something that's catching my attention, is the divergence in price action between some of the equity names and some of the funds. Like, look at MSOS. No move up and an aggressive move down. And look, it's trading at highs in a 542, whereas TLRY still south of 8. Does that concern you at all, the disconnect between the fund and the equity?
Yeah, absolutely. When you try to trade a sector, a whole sector, you have to look for the sympathies and which are a little bit late in the movement and which are not. It didn't seem so strong, at least in some of them that we checked, like Chrono or CGC. It was not such a strong movement for us to play there. It's also, Chrono went up and down all the way down, CGC quite more or less the same. So, not enough. Seemed like the headline was not so important to add a lot of volume. We have 40 millions in CGC, we have 10 millions in Cron. It's okay, but the movement is not so clear for us.
Hey, Luis, what's going on? I want to lead our attention, and I heard you talking about this morning, and that's going to be CAR, Avis Budget Group.
Yes,
This thing...
I have to say, I have seen, oh Lord, I have seen. I have traded, and when I shouldn't.
But here it goes, right? Like, you're down $250 off of that high, 840 approximately. You're now trading down to $595 roughly. So this thing has dropped substantially in the span of a day. Now, I don't know if you have to order locates for this. I know yesterday they were free. The narrative can change. But are you going to be looking to re-engage into something like this, or are you just going to avoid it at all costs? Because if you do have to buy locates, also, how expensive could those possibly be?
It's free. It's easy to borrow for us in real trading. It's easy to borrow. And as we said pre-market, I don't think it's a very good trade because if you try first attempt and it works, that's fine. But what if it doesn't work and you stop out losing $20, $30 movement, which is normal. It's a normal stop in this one. Okay. Then the second attempt, whether you look for even longer movement, $50, $100, whether you go double size to make it back and, make some profit. So I think it's a very, very difficult equation here to solve, comparing winning ratio of risk rewards. The risk, if you fail the first attempt and the second, is huge if you want to take the third attempt. So I shouldn't have traded this one, and I'm going to explain you what happened here. I only saw one clear trade, which was this one, okay? 755, 760, VWAP rejection, one candle over the VWAP and reject. I tried to short here. I didn't get filled because the spread was $4 or $5. I didn't want to fill or kill the bid, but just waiting on the offer to save me this $4 price movement. I didn't get filled, went down right away, $50. What happened? I get angry, revenge trade. I went short here. It has sense, right? I went short here in the base that it broke, this flat bottom break, I think you call it. I went short there, but the risk was too high. I have to cut it. I add more here, trying to make it back. I took a small profit here. I add here, and finally it worked, But even if these trades work, it took me like 5 years of my life, it's suffering a lot because of the spread, the huge risk. If it breaks VWAP, go like $50 right away and you're losing a ton of money. So it was not worth it. It worked. I was a little bit bad luck here because when it went down to 660, I put the stop here in 690. I got a stop out and then it went all the way down. But it happens.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's exactly. It does happen. No, I mean, I agree with you. Like, it just takes a lot. From a mental taxation standpoint, it's quite a bit. Like, you caught a 40-point move, but at the end of the day, you're classifying it as not worth it. And I think that's totally fine. I want to head back in towards the small cap world. And I talked about this observation. And what I'm noticing more and more is that if the names aren't strong and they're hovering below the volume weighted average price, they typically tend to stay below VWAP and sell off a little bit more from that pre-market gain or anything along those lines. I know that's something that you're continuously looking for. Can you break that down for us a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could, let's say, divide the zones in three, in my opinion, three parts. Let's see, with AGPU, maybe it's easier. We always talk about pre-market highs, opening, and VWAP, right? These are the three levels for me, two key when you want to short. You have the pre-market highs. This is the first level that you have to take into account when you want to short. This is like your most, the riskiest part of the trade, okay? So that would be your worst scenario. The second is the opening price. We had it here, okay, on AGPU. Sorry. Let me check. LT. Why it doesn't show? I don't know. Let me try again. Or something like that. There you go. Okay, opening price and then the VWAP. So we talk like this. Listen, if it's trading above VWAP and above pre-market highs, you shouldn't short this front side, okay? It's huge risk because it has momentum probably, it has a lot of volume. We are trading above VWAP, above open, and above pre-market highs. So that's like the longest scenario, you know, where the long bias traders are very comfortable. If you're trading below pre-market highs but above VWAP, you can short it, yes, expecting that the VWAP will fail, but you have to be very aggressive with the stop loss if it breaks pre-market highs. But longs are also playing here because they long because it's above VWAP and they are expecting to trade above pre-market highs. So long bias, they have their goal breaking this. Short bias, they have their goal breaking this. And where the long bias are comfortable, short bias, they have to stop. When VWAP breaks, short bias are more comfortable, long bias, they have to stop out of the trade. So, and if you're trading below VWAP, below opening, and below pre-market highs, you shouldn't long. Makes no sense to long unless you see some catalyst, new catalyst, or some sympathy plays jumping or something like that, you know? So it's long zones if you're trading above pre-market highs, above VWAP, indecision, so question mark in this area, and short bias on this one.
Perfect.
All right, Luis, I have a one here for you. I took this one long several times, NMAX, NMAX. But now to me, I don't know how you feel about this. It feels like it's basically putting in lower highs with, what you just talked about there, flat bottom break. And it's kind of hard to gauge because the wicks seem to be finding some support here at right 9.5 or 9.75. And the closing prints all around the volume weighted average price. Is this one that you would be looking to short? I mean, the VWAP here looks like some sort of support, but it does look like it may be failing. If this is one that you'd be interested in shorting, what would your methodology be?
Yeah, let me check if we have data on this one. It haven't appeared. It didn't appear in our scanner so far, but I can check it out here for you. You go market analysis, and you go here. Well, let's see if we have some data on this one.
Yeah,
okay.
NMAX.
First of all, no, we only have one gap up, so it's not enough. First of all, I'll also check. In another window, I have the dilution tracker. Let me check country and float. So it's not a small company. It's 130 million float, 1.2 billion market cap. So it's not a small, it's a U.S. company, okay? So that gives you more confidence on the short side, at least for me. Right now, listen, I would be okay long in this because first of all, it's not a gap up, okay? It's running during the day, which is important. It didn't have news pre-market, just start to run after the market opens. So that's more uncomfortable for the shorts. When you're short bias, you want it to have gap up during the pre-market. So you have the news, you have some stop, some pre-market highs and some levels to kick out of the trade if you really like. So when the stocks runs during the market, it is more difficult for a short bias trader to trade because we don't have reference points, you know, and momentum to close the trade. So in this case, I will not short it. So that's good if you're long bias, okay? It seems like it could be what we call a B1 reclaim. You have a strong movement up, you have a retracement, it loses the B1, but you know what? It has lost a lot of volume, but no price. So it's good for the longs, no volume, but still holding price. So you're quite safe until 950, 960s. Yeah. It's a good zone to break. If it breaks BWAP, if you see some momentum, the highs of the day could break easily.
Luis, I have one more question for you. Do you have a bias about stocks under $1? Is that something that you try to stay away from, or is are they both fair game?
A different game. Usually I avoid which is below 60 cents or 50, 60, 70 cents. I avoid it. And when it's over 50, 60 cents, first thing I do, remember, check NASDAQ compliance. If it has NASDAQ bid price and it's around 60, 70 cents, I check the momentum, but it has a lot of probabilities to go to trade over the dollar to avoid the regulation. So that's the first thing I check, if it has bid price or market value requirement from the NASDAQ. That's the first thing. And what I find difficult when I trade below dollar is, first, you don't have ECN rebate. You pay always when you trade, okay? Remember, over $1, if you add liquidity, you get paid by adding liquidity. Right. When you trade below $1, you always pay. So you don't have, you cannot be a lot of active, like buying and selling and closing and going in again, because all the profit goes out, you know, with
very
the
good point.
fees and the commissions. And second, it's very difficult, at least for me, and I'm an experienced trader, but it's difficult to size the trade, you know, to pyramid in the good trade, because, you know, you never know how much can go, because you're thinking about cents, but when you are thinking about logarithmic scale, right, from 70 cents to $1 is 50% up, almost 40%. So it's very difficult for me, at least, to pyramid in the good position and close out and trade small when you're wrong. You know, I find it more difficult that when the stock is trading $1, $2, $3, $4.
Great information. Thank you very much, Luis. Always make sure to remind us about the checking to see if it's bid non-compliant. I think that it's a very, very sound piece of advice. We always suggest that as well to our viewers. Thank you so much for being on. We love having you on. Thank you for joining us in the chat every day. I think a lot of the viewers really liking your contributions, especially for the small caps, Luis. Thank you for coming on.
It's a lot of fun, guys, so it's good. Thank you.
Hey, guys. Yeah.
From small caps to a $500 stock here. Keep an eye on Spotify. SPOT on watch. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announcing investigations into this company and a whole host of other music streaming services, including Apple Music, Pandora, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music, basically looking into if there were any payola schemes involving if these platforms took undisclosed payments to boost certain songs, playlist placement, or recommendations to customers. He's saying it's a violation of Texas law. We know recently he reportedly was opening an investigation into Lululemon. So Ken Paxton added again in TX or Texas here, this time with SPOT, feeling the brunt of this announcement. Back to you.
2 non-American companies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Spotify.
Finnish or Swedish or something like that, right? Like from Scandinavia. And we, of course, Lulu, Canadian.
Yeah.
Not the best time Lulu's had, but a good company nonetheless. Great clothes. Dude, I bought like a bunch of shorts. That was 2018. Can I tell you that not one thread on those gym shorts is running?
High quality.
It's legitimately high quality and better than Nike. Like, it is better than Nike. I have a bunch of Nike shorts as well, and you know, they don't hold up nearly as well. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Back, Jack.
Retail.
All right.
Fact, that's a fact, Jack.
That's a fact, Jack. All right, see ya. What are we talking about next?
We got a headline here.
Talking about Boeing, BA has reported a solid earnings beat today. Let's take a look. So, reported a narrowed loss of 20 cents per share versus the 83 cents per share that was expected. Revenue is standing at $22.22 billion versus the estimated number at $21.78 billion, which is a 14% increase year over year. This is strength in defense and top line recovery. This is primarily also reflecting the 143 commercial deliveries. Therefore, the commercial aircrafts has also increased 10% year over year. Net loss has slimmed to $7 million versus the $31 million net loss in the prior year. Free cash flow of $1.5 billion. All of these reasons point to a higher delivery volume and an improved operational performance and a desired order timing. Production ramp is also 737 MAX 42 per month, an upside. And defense revenue has increased by 21%, followed by services by 6%. Currently, BA in the green by 5%.
So Boeing delivered a total of 600 commercial, I'm not talking about military, commercial aircraft in all of 2025. 600. That's what it's saying here. 447 737s, 88 787 Dreamliners, 35 777s, 30 767s. One must only look over here, Assassino, to this little headline. 6,100 commercial planes currently under order. Let's just go ahead and compare that to like an RPO. I know it's not the same thing, remaining performance obligations, but these are outstanding orders. They're making 2025 was a good year for them, especially if you're looking at how they did prior years. That's a good year, and it's not even 10% of the amount that they have outstanding. And that backlog grew 1.8%. Look at the amount of money that's outstanding there that they can't meet because they can't build enough capacity. A little bit less than $700 billion in orders.
Yeah.
And you know there's no shortage of demand, man. Let's be honest about it. Older airplanes need to be replaced. These airlines are switching their strategy from hub and spoke, and they're doing all sorts of different things. They're going to need airplanes to go along with that.
Yeah.
So you got to like the report. I think the report is quite good. It shows, Kelly Orberg really turning this thing around. But, did you ever feel like they may be able to get to some of the capacity that they need, that the market is demanding?
It's a pretty big jump, in my opinion. Is it going to happen overnight? No. Kelly Orberg's slowly turning things around, increasing the margins. And, if we're talking about complete deliveries in 2026 as well, too, Sharif, it's only going to be 10% higher. Right, like 660 planes, that's not going to be enough. Like the demand is there. The margins, they're improving, but they're still operating at essentially a net loss in the commercial airspace. So what is this company going to do essentially to turn things around? I don't know. How do you ramp up production that much to the fact where you're only producing so many planes to have to meet your demands at the end of the day? I don't see that happening overnight, especially when you're already operating at a net margin loss, even though they are slightly improving.
Hey, well said.
So how? I don't know. Where do you get that from? I don't see. Where did they go wrong? Why is it so expensive, and why are they operating? Why are the operating margins so low and essentially not good whatsoever to the point where they can't even meet production capability?
Well, it's probably multifaceted. We can look into that. But that's a great question.
In regards to the supply chain and everything, but there's so much demand clearly for their product, but yet they can't meet any of the obligations. We have deals where it's okay, China buying hundreds of planes as well too, but it's okay, that's great, but you're not going to see them for 10 years.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fact.
You know what I mean? You're not going to see them for a long time.
There was some good here. They are looking at getting certification for both the 737 MAX 7 and MAX 10 later at the end of this year. That could kind of give them more of a window to increase the 737 production, which they very much clearly produce more of. There is breaking news now about some aircraft carrier. Let's go to Adara.
So that news here, Sharif, is that USS George H.W. Bush, which is an aircraft carrier, has a strike group, and they're anticipated to reach the Middle East in 3 to 5 days. This is coming from noted and pretty reliable correspondent here on the Middle East, Jennifer Griffin. She's a Fox News correspondent mostly here. She's saying that, again, USS George H.W. Bush Aircraft Carrier Strike Group expected to reach Middle East in about 3 to 5 days. Now, that would coincide with the end of the ceasefire extension on Sunday. Furthermore, Israeli military, IDF, saying that they actually struck a vehicle in South Lebanon. They're saying that it was a threat from Hezbollah. But either way here, unfortunately, this tension in the Middle East does continue.
In the chat saying, yeah, a lot of it does have to do with the FAA, right? But they also allowed them to increase their deliveries, but it was by by double digits. It was like 10 planes or something.
Well, they had to get them under control because they were using dish soap.
And zip ties, essentially.
And zip ties, right?
But once those problems are fixed, it's like, okay, how do you start to ramp things up and actually just remove some of the backlog, essentially?
You just snored?
Yeah. But I mean, no. But in all seriousness, it's like, okay, how do you, when you're already so far behind, how do you catch up eventually?
No, I mean, look, it's going to require a lot of CapEx. And obviously, CapEx is going to eat into margins. It eats into free cash flow. That's even if they're willing to do it.
Do that.
Now, one must, ask the question, seeing as it's such an important company, at least for the strategic relevance of the United States, is there any government money that you think could find its way over to Boeing?
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm going to put it this way let me ask you this. Do you think that Boeing is allowed to do this? So disregard the FAA situation, everything that they are going on. Do you think that it's a fact that they're allowed to be this far behind just due to the fact that it's only them and Airbus essentially in competition?
Well, yeah, who were you going to get airplanes from?
It doesn't matter. It's like,
bro.
We're in no rush. It's like, okay, yeah, who's it? And if you think about from a total market share standpoint, Boeing drastically outweighs Airbus.
I would say so. I think it's more important. I think they have better airplanes. We saw the big bet that Airbus took on the A380. It didn't pay off, and they're not making any more of them, or they're really dwindling down the numbers that they're doing. So, yeah, I would say, neither is the best company operationally, but Boeing over Airbus. Anything. I think
a lot of people talking about car. I want to pull this thing up. What is it doing right now? Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it already dropped $150. A lot of people saying it's. What are we down here now? 21%.
Oh
down to
my
$556,
$300. Shorts on,
this
bro.
Thing, yeah, the $300 in a day. This is crazy.
Yo, Toro just ripped up, guys. TORO, ripping faces. Flat top break, as you know. Look at that. Through that 675, 660 area, and it didn't go up quietly. It moved up $1, quick as you like, from 650 to 748. Keep your eye here on TORO, now up 87.5%. See ya.
Talking about United Airlines has cut its outlook after the fuel shock has hit its earnings power. UAL has seen a beat on the quarter, but the market will care more about the guide cut. The Q1 EPS stands at $1.19 versus the $1.07 estimated. Revenue standing at $14.61 billion versus the $14.37 billion that was expected. And the 2026 adjusted EPS outlook has been slashed to $7, between the range of $7 to $11 from $12 to $14. All of us are now aware about the culprit that is behind this, which is fuel. UAL now expecting Q2 fuel at $4.30 per gallon, and the war between the US and Iran has changed the cost of the structure for the group. Q2 guidance for the company is also low at the moment, standing at the range between $1 to $2 EPS versus $2.08 estimated. The management's message is that the business is still operationally strong, with the revenue rising over 10% and net income jumping 80% as well as the unit revenue up across every segment, just not domestic. So UAL has said that the revenue should cover 40 to 50% of fuel inflation in the second quarter alone, up to 80% in the third quarter, and potentially in the range of 85 to 100% in the year end as the price increases and schedule adjustments work through. So currently, UAL in the red by 6%.
And because of those increase in prices, look what they're doing, Sia. They plan to curb flight capacity in the third and fourth quarters. And as a result of curbing that capacity, they expect growth to be flat or up to 2% on the year. That represents a significant slowdown compared to the 3.4% capacity growth during the first quarter this year. So quarter over quarter, sequentially, they're dropping big, and the reduction is a direct strategic response to high fuel costs, which are basically intending to protect margins by cutting the less profitable routes. So I thought we were going to get more commentary about the revamping of the cabin and the more emphasis on business/first class that we've been seeing from all these airlines. I don't know if you know, but your friends at Air Canada, I know your favorite airline.
They're your favorite.
They're your favorite. WestJet's my favorite. You already know that.
You already know that. But
Starlink, baby.
That's not what they told me. They said
they told you that.
Air Canada told me that you're their favorite.
No, but seriously, they're revamping the cabin as well. More of an emphasis on first, more of an emphasis on business, because that's where they make money. Let's just cut the crap. Can I say something to you?
Yeah,
I want to say one very specific thing. I always say this to my old man.
Yeah.
In 1992, my sister and I, we went to Egypt for like 2 months. We stayed the entire month there, or entire summer, I should say. My sister paid like $1,250
back then.
Yeah, hold on, and I paid like 8 something because I was still 10 years old. I was a child, but she paid $1,200. Dude, I went to Egypt in 22 and I paid $1,350. They're not making money on economy, Joey.
No,
that's
they're
like
not.
a 35 years or whatever difference between that.
But yet you see this fluctuation within price. I mean, like, maybe we don't hear a little bit about the business because they're like, hey, the demand is still there, even though they are passing even though it hasn't hit them just yet, but they're willing to pass it on to the consumer, and the high demand is still there. So it's just like, hey, maybe we don't need to structurally change anything just yet, considering you see it within the economy.
Well, they're going to charge more anyway now.
They're going to well, that's what I'm getting. They're going to charge more, and you're still going to see people flying. So there's no dwindling within the demand. But they're like, hey, we know that business class is going to be the higher margin, the better for business, but the revenue is still growing. So there's no need to fix something that's not broken.
And I got to tell you, like, the fact that they're increasing the cabin and people are still for first-time business and people are buying it shows that even though the customer may have not said it overtly, there is untapped demand. And let's be more honest about it. On the longer hauls, I am willing to pay more. I'm willing to pay $1,000 more,
in business.
$1,500 more.
I think when you get that 6+ hour, you want to be.
It's unbearable sometimes.
Yeah.
All right, we have to pause. Adair's got news.
I do have another update here in the Middle East. Israeli Channel 12 reporting that dozens of U.S. cargo planes loaded with munitions landed today in Israel at the Ben Gurion airport. So it looks like some U.S. cargo planes with munitions arriving here in Israel. Back to you.
Very much for that, Adair. All right. You have any more comments on UAL, or should we go on?
No, I don't like the airline.
Yeah, he doesn't like it. All right. See ya.
We're talking about Palantir next. Palantir's $300 million USDA deal for farm services modernization. This did cause a little bit of a spike earlier in the day when the market just opened. Now, Palantir has signed a $300 million deal with the U.S. Department of Agriculture to modernize digital services and support for farm program operations. PLTR working on a number of things to improve fraud detection, supply chain oversight, and service delivery across its farm production and conservation operations. So Palantir has said that its software will help speed up things like payments, as well as disaster relief, as well as make it easier for different systems to share data. This deal shows that the government still wants data analytics systems, which is a big growth area for Palantir because it's moving beyond just defense and into commercial and public sector uses. Currently, PLTR up by 4%. But before we go to the boys, Adara, what do you have to say about this?
Yeah, I think this did not shock me. You know, Palantir, even though we've got their commercial revenue growing a lot faster still, we still have growth in the government segment. And as of right now, the last quarter, we're still seeing that their government revenue is larger than the commercial revenue, even though commercial is growing faster, right? And I think furthermore, in addition to that well-established government base, we literally had President Trump, April 10th, so not even 2 full weeks ago, posting not just about the company, but specifically posting its stock ticker on Truth Social, right? So this is not super surprising that we get this update. Furthermore, here is Brooke Roland. She is the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture. When she makes these TV appearances, she tends to talk a lot. So I would be watching next time she makes any kind of appearance to see if this Palantir deal gets a mention. I mean, $300 million kind of up to you to decide if this is a drop in the bucket for Palantir or not, depending on how long this deal is going to be. But I certainly think it's worth discussing and worth noting, especially in the context of their existing government business and that Trump Truth Social post.
Thank you. Sending it to the boys.
Yeah, look, I like this. I like the move into agriculture. I think that that's one area, one specific sector that could really benefit from AI. Brenda was giving us an example this morning. There is this kind of weed detector to move, unwanted plants out of the way, and it doesn't use pesticides. In fact, it uses lasers and AI. Of course, it detects what the plant is. It identifies it, and then it zaps it, murks it out of the ground. No, I'm exaggerating, obviously, and joking around here, but this is genuinely one area where you can have a lot of productivity increase because of AI, whether it's, AI combines or tractors doing a lot of the work manually. And we also know, think about all the foreign workers that they bring in, usually from South America, into Canada on a yearly basis to work on the farms because we just don't have the people with the know-how or the desire to want to work on.
Yeah,
and a lot of people say, "Oh, we'll pay them more."
I'm
like, these guys aren't even making that much money to begin with. We're talking about the farmers.
Yeah, I lived in the marsh, right? Like Bradford, Ontario. Essentially, the majority of the workers who would come in this summer were from Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Like, then they come,
That's
they send all their money back, and then, anyways, aside from that, like to add on to some of your kind of agricultural, essentially machinery, we already have John Deere and we have Caterpillar looking to create these unmanned and autonomous turbines, essentially what you were getting at, and these massive farming equipment, what do? You implement some of Palantir's software into the actual hardware in itself, and sure enough, and I think Derek made a really good point. I think 300 million is essentially a drop in the bucket. Like, let's not beat around the bush. We're doing billion-dollar deals these days. Like, it's like we're not going to talk too much about it. But also in the fact is, like, what is the duration? If it's over 10 years, it's not that much, but it's expansion within Palantir, and you want to see them start to put their foot in different places. We talked about from a global aspect, they're signing deals with countries as well too. So not only are they getting government contracts, they're stepping foot elsewhere.
And you know what else, man? Think about this. Think about the yield that could be increased through AI efficiency.
Exactly.
Like by detecting plants that are behind or sick or need some sort of attention specifically. And that all gets detected by AI on, as you were mentioning there, an AI combine, right? Or a tractor or whatever sort of farm equipment. So yield could be increased. Prices could drop because your input costs go down. I like this. It's kind of the same thing that I meant with the biotech pharmaceutical sector as well, where you could cut so much of the R&D costs if AI lives up to the expectations and is able to take out that phase of your drug development. So I think, that's kind of how I feel about that. I saw that. Shout out to VWAP, PDAT. Oh my days, can't finish that part. $2 super chat. Ayo. XOSL is just on another planet. YOLO. Yeah, well, the chips are killing it today, unless your name is Intel. Down 1%. Sorry, guys. We got to go to Adair. She's got news.
I do, and this time it's about CRM. Here is Salesforce, this one going Mark Benny off to the downside after OpenAI announced that they're going to be introducing some workspace agents, in ChatGPT. So sellers are certainly in force in Salesforce today. Got to get one more pun in for you guys. Again, CRM to the downside, OpenAI introducing some workspace agents. Now, I've mentioned this before, but I've noticed from about 1 to 2 p.m., OpenAI has a tendency to make some kind of announcements, often basically they're going to get into the lane of another company that exists with the AI space. So, I mean, again, 1 to 2 p.m., a time to look for these OpenAI announcements. But either way here, this particular announcement impacting CRM to the downside. Back to you.
We'll be a little bit better. All right. Sia, who are we talking about?
Talking about the most awaited today, Tesla. So Tesla is, as we all know, reporting post-market today. This quarter, Tesla is expecting its revenue to grow 14% year over year, which is a reversal from the 9.2% decrease in the same quarter last year. Analysts expecting Tesla to post a revenue of roughly $22.7 billion, which is a gain of about 5% from the $21.7 billion in the same period last year. EPS projected to land near the 37 cents region, up from the 34 cents in the prior year quarter. Analysts have grown extremely bearish, however, with the revenue estimates that are coming in the downward revisions in the last 30 days. retaining the stock. The company also has previously disclosed a production of 408,386 vehicles versus deliveries of 358,023 units during the quarter. So this widening gap between output and handovers can potentially signal a certain elevated inventory, could also pressure free cash flow, which some analysts are forecasting can turn negative in some time for the first time in the 2 years. But Tesla has missed Wall Street's expectations multiple times for the past few years. Will this time be any different? How will you know? You will know post-market with Trader TV Live. Stay tuned. Watch out for that.
I love it. Look at this article here. So Kalshi betting on the specific words that Musk and his team will use on the call. Terafab sits at 89%. Yeah, okay. I mean, he's been talking up a storm about that. Yeah, exactly. SpaceX/XAI, that term or words, sitting at 84%. Optimus sitting at 99% likelihood that he will mention it. FSD also at 98%. But Cybertruck, the outlier here, well, the supercharger is the outlier. 59% chance Cybertruck gets mentioned on the call. Only 48% chance that the superchargers actually get mentioned there. I thought that that would definitely be mentioned more because I was listening to an interview that he had the other day where he was talking about they got to build up more capacity. But let's cut the crap, okay? Let's get right down to work.
Cut it, man.
Here's what I'm thinking. Number one, I'm worried about their free cash flow. They're having to spend more on CapEx. They were guiding 20 some odd billion. Now the terafab's coming in there, and the R&D and everything that comes with it, I think that that could pressure free cash flow. That could be trouble, right? So that's one thing. I think Elon is being a little too optimistic about how much it's going to cost him to build all this stuff out, all right? Yeah, I think he's way too optimistic about that. So that's number one. Number two, we already know their deliveries. That's fine. So we already know the deliveries were bupkis. But what I want to know is, were they able to maintain some of the vehicle margins? What are the gross margins on the vehicles? Are we talking mid-teens or are we talking high teens here? Because they keep going down quarter over quarter, year over year, right? The margins keep getting cut. So that's number two. Number three, I want to hear more about the timeline for the robotaxi. I want to hear about when they expect robotaxi to scale. I don't anticipate Optimus scales before robotaxi. I certainly think robotaxi scales before Optimus. Now, what's his plan for that? Is robotaxi gonna see the light out of the old X and S facility in Fairmont? Like, what's the move here, Elon? Where are they going to come from? Right?
I think that's the idea.
And then obviously, I want to hear more about Optimus, what his version, what he expects. Because last time he said Optimus specifically, he said Optimus is not doing useful work. Yeah?
It's not.
It's not. No, it hasn't done it yet. And I'm not even talking about a controlled setting.
Yeah.
It's not doing useful work.
Yeah. And I mean, you know what? Like, listen, I get it. It's fun. It's nice to think about this stuff, having the robotics. But Sharif, as you would typically say, let's cut the crap. Optimus isn't doing anything for Tesla for probably the next 3 to 5 years.
You think so? I was giving it a couple. I was going to say 2. No, huh?
Longer, brother.
Longer.
I think longer. Yeah. Like, and
even with all the meta people wearing.
It doesn't matter. Three.
You know what I mean? All the training, the agentic training.
3 to 5 years.
3 to 5
if someone's saying 1 year max, you disagree. That's totally fine.
Get it, Ichiro.
No, and I like that.
He says much longer, so everybody feels different.
Everybody's saying much longer. It's going to be much longer, in my opinion. We see where it stands. But then also, I think what we're going to see is people are going to catch on to more to the Cybercab than what they are going to Optimus, especially if that thing's coming around $20,000.
I genuinely believe that, Byron. Okay. I swear I'm not gaslighting. I think it's a couple of years.
Okay, yeah, like if that's where we're standing, Ramin, is it's playing rock, paper, scissors with Kim Kardashian, then sure enough, like, is this a groundbreaking technology? Am I buying this thing so I can play rock, paper, scissors with it at the end of the day?
Dude, no, but I've made this point very clear. Like, my life right now is minute by minute, hour by hour. That's just my day. My day's locked in. Imagine I could reclaim back some of my time, not only for personal time for personal use to be able to, develop personal relationships a little bit better. But quite frankly, I could reapply my time to more productive for
what
more
do
productive
you want
endeavors.
Optimus to do for you? Tell me. What do you want it to do?
Goodness gracious,
Just give me a couple of
so
things.
much,
Just give me
man.
2 things right off the list.
Right off the list?
Yeah, right off the top.
Prepare my food.
Okay.
Okay? Do you know how long it takes me to
5
make
years
eggs every
away.
day?
Yeah, 5 years away.
You don't know that, man. We can guess. We can guess. Fine. I give you, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it, right? Prepare my food to actually tidy up my apartment.
Yeah.
Now, robo-taxi could, you know, who knows what, it could pick up stuff for me, right? Like meet people at the concierge. Whatever. There's so many different things I can think of that I could reclaim my time.
I don't disagree with you, but then also I think the question leads to, are you prepared to pay that price tag?
Look, yes, if depending on how it comes out.
The efficiency
that
of
makes
the,
a big deal,
right?
yes. How much I can get out of the product, of course, that makes sense. But also, is this going to be like a financing, leasing thing, like a car?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So then it becomes feasible month to month, right? Including that payment. So I don't know. I have basic clean and fold my clothes, absolutely,
yes, but
and iron everything. Right? I mean, I have so much stuff that I
go
could
and get a cup of coffee. Do you think that we're folding now? So like, so I mean, and we're not even in mass production yet.
The machine is broken. Neither of us have had a coffee.
No, but there you go. You have Optimus fix it for you at the end of the day. I get that. But I think just like Elon Musk, we're being a little optimistic on the timeline.
I like that. Dunk.
Right?
All right, Sia, what do we got?
Talking about Google next, Google has unveiled its chips for AI training and inference. Google's latest efforts to take on NVIDIA in AI hardware include separating the company's task that has been doing for many years now, which is producing chips that it can both train artificial intelligence models and handle inference work into distinct processors. Google has said as of this morning that it is working on making the change for its 8th gen TPUs. Both these chips will be available later this year. Google has said that training these chips enables 2.8 times the performance the 7th gen TPU Ironwood, which was announced in November of last year for the same price, but the performance will be 80% better for the inference processor. Now, Google in the green by almost 1.6%.
And I like this, Sia. Like, yeah, sure, it's TPU 8, T or I, depending on whether it's for training or inference. So as Brendan and I were talking about this morning, there's going to be TPU for training. That obviously kind of challenges NVIDIA's moat, because those are still the best chips for training. But then the inference chips that we've been talking so much about, they're making 2 versions. I happen to love that. Number 2, a massive agentic AI fund, $750 million, which, to be honest, is a bit of a drop in the bucket for Google, established for that 120,000 member ecosystem to kind of prototype and integrate their AI agents into the existing workflows. You got to love that. And then one that I really like, and why I chose Thermo Fisher as one of my picks, finally, AI may help the pharmaceutical/biotech industry. That's a $1 billion deal with Merck to deploy an agentic platform across the pharmaceutical giants R&D program. That's where we may see huge cost savings. And then think of the sort of the side effect of President Trump's cap on some of the drug prices by asking for the most favored nation pricing. What does that do to the margins of these pharmaceutical companies? They have to respond, and this is a great way for them to respond. President Trump says, look, you're selling whatever, drug A in Sweden for $1 a pill, and you're ripping our people off for $5 a pill, so they have to drop it to $1 a pill in the States. That eats into so much of their margins. Now, granted, kind of the American consumer was financing the rest of the world by paying those prices, and more sympathetic I could not be, but these drug companies shouldn't really have to have massive valuation shifts. The investors are really going to get clipped, and this is one of the areas where they can have margin expansion by removing so much of the R&D costs. So I really do like this. And then who could hate on the Anthropic angle here? They're going to gain about access to 1 million TPUs. We're talking about Anthropic. Yesterday, Joseph and I were talking about, how Anthropic distributes their cloud compute, about 60%, 55 to 60% with AWS, but 25 to 30% was with Google, right? We knew that, and they're going to get access to these TPUs. Another good look for Anthropic, especially because they're so agent-focused, right? We know Anthropic is kind of really trying to take that enterprise angle, and that enterprise angle has a lot of agents in it.
Yeah. Did you see that Microsoft looking to implement, what is it? What's that? It's not coming to me.
What's up?
Mythos into some of it from a cybersecurity standpoint.
How's that even
Microsoft.
possible?
I just read the headline, man.
Hold on, read that again.
Yeah, I'll
bring it in.
I'll pull it up here.
Where the hell is that? That's crazy.
Yeah, Microsoft and Mythos.
And Mythos, how is that possible? I thought they were all crazy about the fact that it was leaked and this and that. And
Here you go.
yeah, bring it in. Click read full article. That's Street Insider. Click that. Yeah. It should load up in your browser. It's loading up behind here.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why that's
Loading up behind there. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, right here, guys.
Bring it in. Let's read that, man. Wednesday.
Microsoft
embed.
Wednesday plans to embed advanced artificial intelligence models, including Anthropic's Claude Mythos preview, into its secure coding framework as the company strengthens its cybersecurity capabilities.
I think maybe they're just using it to make sure that their software doesn't have glitches, but I don't think they're making it accessible,
But even
right?
so, getting into ties with obviously Anthropic.
Well, this is how it leaks, because they're giving it to people at Microsoft, and then obviously it leaks that way, so I'm not really surprised by that.
So,
anyway, it's about a minute and a half left.
Yeah.
I'll let you take off because I know you got to set up. So
Yes, sir.
Let's review some of these trades. Thank you, Sia, for the news. We're going to move on. Just do a quick trade review and see what is still moving, what is not. Let's take a look at Toro. Toro still looks fantastic, guys. I know you guys were yelling about this during the news. 770 high. It looks like there was a lot of selling at 750. No closing prints above that 750 area. Coming back down now into 7. I'd say be careful shorting this here. You know, as Luis was talking about, this is still substantially above the volume-weighted average price, which is showing about 6 1/3, give or take. So be on the lookout for that. I would start looking possibly short if it was to lose VWAP. And then if you're looking long, I'm also thinking here 670 to 680 could be a good buy area. Look for support there. If it fails, it fails. And then you have to look at something else. But Toro, not a bad look at all today. Was it still up on the day? About 76.5%. Also, FCell, also really not giving up the ghost, certainly not at day's high, that's 11.74, but showing about $11.50 right now. And I can't believe how strict this one has been in terms of respecting the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. That's been a hell of a hold there with only one breach on the day of that 10 exponential, and that came on that red candle at 12.45, but you can see it got bought up and closed above the 10 EMA. So FCell still looking pretty good. AKAN, that's the one that was halting, had a good trade on this one. Look, it's stair-stepping down. It's not rocketing down, which some of these multiple halters tend to do. But, you know, it's below the volume-weighted average price right now. Watch out for lower highs. And then a fail, I would say, of about 575. That probably sets up a gnarly short. But it is now 2 o'clock, and I do see Neil Roberts at the big screen. And Joey is ready to go. Do I send it to Neil, or do I send it to Joe? To Joe. All right, we're sending it to Joey.
Surprise.